in the sliver of the map is that's left up there. You also have the southeast corner, which, if you saw the map earlier, is relatively sparse with players. But that northeast side, the largest push of players, and there's actually a fight going on outside there. Hopefully, we can see that after the fact, depending on what happens with that. The two players fighting the storm, but there's going to be a big wave of people coming into the river, which is extremely exposed too. If I were in a position northeast side of Shifty Shafts, I'd build a 1x1 up there. If I had a scope, they are especially, or even just something I could tap fire with, take advantage of the third-party situations, especially right now.
Oh, most certainly. As we continue to watch, Cub Smiles is setting up right now, swapping it over to Linane as he's got some remote explosives in hands, considering maybe dropping some on in there, but realizing, hey, that would probably cause some danger close splash damage to me as well. So maybe not my best play as of yet. There you go. Now his opponent beginning to build on up, try to fight for this high ground. The quick reaction from Linane as he continues to build on up, keeping the high ground advantage, not getting the high damage pump shots he might want. It looks like it's time to spray. SMG in hand, nothing as of yet, and now, a third party. A new challenger approaches as he will again look to kind of reset this fight. Do you stop and maybe just use the Chug Jug here?
Potentially, you see he's dropped down. He's taking an opportunity maybe to, like you said, use the Chug Jug. And one thing I want to point out is in the middle of that fight, he was using a pump-action shotgun to try and blow through surfaces. And recently, Fortnite, there was a change to that. Shotguns don't do nearly enough damage to make it an aggressive play to use it to push through structures. The swap to an SMG in that situation probably would have been a better play because he would have been able to push more aggressively on his opponent who was trying to escape. So the shotgun choice, not enough damage. It just doesn't fire fast enough, and because of the change recently, it doesn't hit hard enough to make it an aggressive push through structure.
Now, quick note, I just looked down at my scoreboard. Remember when I mentioned had points yet? He didn't. Just jumped up to 5 elims. 2 points already earned. Our leader at this point, and then Painful now at 3. Those are our only 2 players up to this point, Dr. Lupo, who have earned themselves some points on the board.
There are 3 other players currently alive it looks, that have 2 eliminations, 1 more elim, pushing them to the 3 to get that single point. That's Kevy, Fluffy, and Zachamp. If they could pull, like I said, 1 more elim.
And it's so important to mention, too, as we see how Painful got his 3rd elim. There it was. Jay Cuddy gets cut down. But the thing to bring up, we had our 33rd player qualify with 1 point yesterday. Aiden, with 5 elims, already has 2. This is just the beginning of game number 1 of the 4 we'll play. You got to think if you're Aiden right now, you're sitting pretty to potentially qualify for Monday's grand final.
The southeast side, you hear that launch pad at this point. Shivsy might want to keep his eyes up. An opponent launch padded either away, Painful, you see right there, and there it is, flying his way out. That engagement probably a good one to back out of. Painful saw a number of different opponents coming in and saying, no, now's not the time for this.
The cube coming into play, the zone closing right on it towards it. I'm so happy to see it. I want to see how it affects things.
Right through, he's watching. He's going to C4 out and drop the player in. He saw him directly above.
Tries to make some fancy plays happen. There's the quick build as well. Trying to protect from the 3rd party that's peeking on in. Still 200 HP from Linane. 0 elims to this point, so playing a little bit more of a passive game. Trying to use those audio cues, listen for where this player could be. I think he's got him spotted in the brick, and here comes more remote explosives. No! It's only an 8-point damage. There's the cleanup onto Ultra, but again, that 3rd party now popping on in. Linane's got to keep the action going, keeping the high ground. Try to spot with this pump. Only 24 more for wood. Thankfully, a ton of brick to use. Quick little peek, cheeky. The high ground secured again with the ramp. Drops that wall to block as well to be able to re-secure with that floor, and just like that, Linane has chipped away some damage, Lupo, while keeping the high ground.
Linane actually showed a really important skill that a lot of competitive players have utilized. Well, yes, obviously, but yeah, he jumped out to the on the right side, took the shotgun shot, and then built underneath him. He was going for the hit as fast as possible. He could have built and jumped out, but that might have cued his opponent to say, oh, you're building out here, you're going to push from that side, and he could have built a wall, but Linane said, nope, I'm going to jump to the air, take the shot first, and then we'll worry about building and stopping the drop.
This is actually Aiden from earlier. That was Aiden's 5th elim.
Fuzzy.
A brilliantly lightning quick edit back to the Linane fight. Still in this engagement, the zone will slowly be closing on in. Yes, they're right on the edge, but they will have to move. Looks like that player just below is beginning that process of moving now, and Linane still wants us. The 3rd party, though. This could spell disaster. Only 13 HP, and that storm's going to hit for a lot as it closes on in. Lupo. Magnum Cade knows he's got someone just below, and there it is. Peekaboo. Linane will have to wait for game 2.
Linane actually Jack, he was on my flight, my second flight here.
I was actually not expecting that.
No, it's fun fact. And this is his first time flying out of the country to come down here to Seattle to play in the summer skirmish.
Okay, Aiden has 7 elims. 7 elims, and there's still 32 left. We're about to have to add a whole new point category for this guy. Playing on controller. This kid's an absolute beast.
He's already got 3 points. We're at the point now where he might have to, he can play a little slower. He doesn't necessarily have to play for eliminations now because he's capped the number of points that he can get from elims.
Yep.
Now, that being said, don't forget, tiebreakers, one of the biggest pieces. Yeah, victory royales determine it first, but you're not going to see a lot of those, so eliminations count for everything. He could play slower, and 7 is a lot to sit on for this Courage.
Right.
Yesterday, we didn't see very many players hitting even double digits over the course of 4 games, so 7 is huge.
Here's a little replay from earlier on as Rogue 00 Flower. A little bit of a battle.
Shotgun shot there. Gets tendons during the rotation. He's got a minute here. That storm is going to start impacting gameplay decisions, though.
Sean, you see the
low gravity. Floating, yep. They're close enough to the cube. This thing is really changing up how some players are maneuvering and maybe even throwing them off. The expectation to drop faster while you're jumping and trying to throw snipers and tap fire from ARs from a distance off, it might make it tougher because you're not necessarily moving in a way that you're used to. Now, here's the leaderboard as we were talking about earlier. 3 other players hit 3 eliminations. That means 3 people have a single point apiece. But Painful PvP, the only one of those 3 that's still alive. Plus, Aiden sitting pretty at 7 up top.
Back to the game now. Sean was taken, hiding, healing. Greasy Grove. One of my favorite areas on the map. You see that low gravity zone ending just outside that area. Players beginning to push on in. Aiden has made the move. So last we saw, Aiden was on the far side of the zone, had to make something happen. Well, he has. Here's left. You can see the entire zone on this mini-map. Shows just how kind of slow play some of these guys are taking this to try to stay alive for that top 10.
Now you can see Aiden kind of sneaking around. I think he may have heard movement from the player above. You have to remember, even a weapon swap, you can hear that audio cue, and so Wheels up top, if there's change weapons at any point while Aiden's been in here, he will have heard him. You can hear the footsteps. There's movement happening. He knows there are people around him.
He's looking for more fights. This is the next zone. Is the first zone that will be, one of the full rotations that'll have to happen. It's half out of play. Tempo actually just got knocked out of this game by Cease. So
I gotta say, this might be some of the most aggressive in the middle of a rotation. Aiden just says, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I've got a player trapped outside, put himself in a 1-by-1, and he's making moves.
Look at these speed builds, turbo building, spinning around, placing walls. He's made it into the next zone again, out of metal, but still 1,500 plus materials to use to his name. Over to LeVake, trying to edit on down. Player just above, a little bit of an awkward spot for him to be in. Uh-oh. Remember that trap? Remember that trap, Aiden?
There are a pair of them in there.
Remember that trap, Aiden? Place! Remember the trap! There it is!
But it wasn't Aiden. Bowman SC was the second trap, the one closer to the front door. You see the border around the traps tell you whether or not they're yours or not. And we saw when Aiden put one down, there was a second trap with a yellow border around there. There's an opponent.
I thought he was walking into Aiden's. Imagine that would have been his 8th limb. My goodness.
Adam Cade. One of the few players I think that I've seen thus far holding on to a bolt action this late in the game. And it's funny to say late in the game. I shouldn't have said anything, but Chuck Nance, the shotgun play there. But this late in the game, there's 26 players remaining, and this is the first circle move. This is where the people on the east and south side, forced engagements are going to happen. Joystick in general going to run into each other. Bowman actually going down there in the southwest to Shivzy. Kevy taking out Stark Duque in the rotation in, but gets third-partied by Sean was taken.
Oh, and Sean just got a free launch pad placed right below him from an enemy, so he's going to use that to maneuver quickly towards the opposite side of the zone. Cease now building up to the high ground too. You see Hysteria still alive, Marksman still alive, Ghost Fizzle still in this. Those are some of the bigger names in competitive Fortnite. Still fighting in these last 22 spots in game 1.
Now Velocody maybe pulling the first time I've ever seen somebody bunker up in the basement of Durburger. Usually a pretty common loot spot, but sticking yourself down in the basement, it could be rough. You're kind of bottlenecking everyone above you because obviously you can't mine out through the floor. Oh, Aiden pulling. Almost another Elim. Looks like there were 3 players in there because he took the shot, didn't get the Elim. And Vide, who got the Elim on his opponent, gets the follow-up.
There you go.
An excellent 2 piece there. But
crowd getting behind Aiden, it seems like.
Absolutely. Should be proud. 3 points already.
Yeah, definitely our leader up to this point. But back to the action. Zone will close soon. Remote explosives in the hand of Sean. He's got 3 limbs, so 1 point for him earned so far. Looking for that quick little third-party peek. Does a little bit of damage. He's closest to this next zone. And Lupo, well, why is this the best positioning as we move towards this next one?
He's in a great spot because at this point, the remainder of the players, they're going to have to move the furthest. Now, his structure just got shot down a little bit on the left side, but he can third party. He can watch for rotations. He has a purple AR, which is excellent at doing a ton of damage mid-rotation. You have a really good moderate range weapon. Joystick dropping down the shotgun blast and then switches to that literally almost down to the last bullet of his gray SMG to get that elimination as they rotate.
At this.
The southwest corner is going to be a nightmare for everybody trying to move right now.
This is where the Storm just begins to farm. Sean looking on down. He's got all the height he could ever want. Someone now beginning to challenge this high ground. It looks like he'll prioritize him for the moment. And wow, Alpha just got shredded. 35-35, 70. We'll see it in game 2, pal. Sean moves a little bit closer. Now down to just 11. Remember, top 10 earn a point. Hysteria, no!
Hysteria versus Ghostbizzle, and that puts him out of 11th.
That means Hysteria was 1 Elim. If he gets that Elim, he earns himself a point. Instead, he'll end game 1 on a goose egg.
Now the next circle you see in the top, Courage, is going to be rough for pretty much everyone. Not a whole lot of building was done between here and the north side past Greasy Grove, which means this is going to be an open area move. A lot of players are going to get caught rotating and maybe even run out of materials. We saw yesterday, I asked you about the building over the top, the layers that they're building to kind of create themselves cover while they move on the ground. And with nobody else out here, no other structure, everyone will be exposed, especially if you run out of materials.
Yeah, Sean is just farming from up top. He's down to just metal, and here you go.
Beginning of the move.
Oh, goodness.
Taking shots, shooting down at Ghostbizzle. See some painful running into each other. A player from Tempo having to move simultaneously. Look at the layers here.
He's going for it all right now. He's going for it all right now, getting a little bit lower, not to take some crazy fall damage. Cease with 1. Chino now spectating as well. He's been eliminated. You see Sicarios is trying to build with whatever materials he has left. There you go. Player close, only 4 in total remaining. Now if you make it to the top 3, Lupo, you earn another point. Everyone knows that. Nobody wants to be the next one to drop right here.
Skyros, you could hear someone else is popping a shield very close by. That'll tell you there's a lot of players stacked on top of each other.
Is that still Sean up top?
I believe it is. Oh, nobody wants to rotate. Nobody wants to move. And I don't blame them because the next placement is, like you said, it's an increase in points. It's going to create slower play from these really competitive players. They know that placement right now is everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, our top 4 here. The zone about to move. Everything we've seen will culminate in these final moments. Ghostbizzle, one of the biggest names online of the summer scrimmage up to this point, trying to bounce around, trying to see exactly where he can spot an opponent. The Storm slowly inching forward, everyone within just 1 or 2 walls of each other. It does not get more intense than this. Traps being placed, and now Lupo, this is it. This is the last move they've had to make. 24 seconds until the zone closes. And basically everyone's hand is forced.
Now Sean might still be in the best position depending on the healing of the other players. He has 5 bandages and the healing through HP damage is huge.
Someone's out of shields.
Come out. Skyros goes down to Bizzle top 3, which means these 3 players get 2 points apiece.
That elim for Bizzle not only gave him top 3, but it gave him a 3rd elimination. Bizzle trying to strike down this opponent. It's not going to happen yet. So Bizzle has no healing, and he's only got 60 HP. He's got to force these fights. He's got to make something happen. He's looking to make it happen towards this low side, down to just 1 HP. Can he make the greatest play happen? I don't think Sean drops. Why would Sean ever drop?
This elimination will be worth 2 points right now.
Ghostbizzle, good effort, my friend, but Sean knows there's the reason to force it. There it is.
The shot in Sean, an excellent play, 6 eliminations. Oh yeah, that's confidence. An excellent set of decision-making opportunities there. As he was up top, he rotated at the right times. He stayed above and in front of the next move for each circle.
Ghostbizzle, he's like, all right, hey, you know what? His big role right there, yes, could he have tried to maybe get the victory royale? It would have been near impossible at that last moment on the bottom side of things. But the big thing for him was that elimination to get it from 4 to 3, but then also brings his elims from 2 to 3. So that 1 elim earned him 2 points. And again, we can't stress enough, people qualified with literally just 1 point across the 4 games yesterday. You got to be proud of yourself if you're Ghost Bizzle there.
Depending on the trend of the eliminations and the points over the course of the next 3 games, too, that could mean that he's already qualified. He doesn't. He might even be able to not touch his keyboard and mouse and make it to the grand finals on Monday. Now, I wouldn't recommend it. Please don't do that.
I don't know
I'm just
about
saying,
that.
based on trends from previous games, he might be good to go for the grand finals on Monday. That's $1.5 million. A potential chance.
Nuts to think. Great ending there to that one. You see just how intense these games can be. So many players remaining in our final couple storms. We have some of the replays, though, of our highest eliminator from game 1. Ghost 8 in the crowd, getting behind him early on. Let's see how we made it happen.
Keep in mind, too, a controller player. One of the fastest edits I've seen on a controller right there is, as I'm saying, one of the fastest edits, puts the window and takes the shot. Excellent decision-making skills from him, and some very aggressive gameplay in recent, which we haven't seen a whole ton of. When it was time to move, he was pushing on players that were building themselves into 1-by-1s almost fearlessly. I love to see it, and his loadout was consistent with what you would see from a lot of
that's how he did
players.
it.
Yeah.
The rift to go, that makes sense. I was wondering how he wound up maneuvering early on. This was towards the end of this one. Try to make this a limb happen, I believe. This gets stolen from him? Oh, yeah. Okay, that was, yeah. This gets stolen from him, if I'm not mistaken. Yep.
Right there.
Frustrating to say the least, as again you see this packed venue, people just getting a little bit of a breather before game 2 starts on up. But we've got more replays to show you here. I believe this is SDX Vibe.
Indeed.
Yes, it is. Okay.
This is who took that elimination from, yeah, there it is, and he gets the drop on 8 in the corner as well. He got wheels. This is in the basement underneath, and just a lot of quick, pickaxing through the surfaces. Because of recent changes to build structure, you can smack through pretty much anything in 2 swings if you hit the node, the little marker right on, 100%. And that makes aggressive pushes, even with just a pickaxe, a possibility from these players.
Well, that wasn't the only exciting moment. Actually, the final moment, we'll go ahead and look at a little replay from that, as it all came down to the wire. Ghost Bizzle saw his opponent really had no shields left. He tried to make it happen, but then Sean falls on down, wants to take no chances, and I really can't blame him there. He saw his opponent kind of shooting the opposite side of that structure, says, you know what, I'm going to drop on in, double barrel, hope it ends the game here, and it did just that. And in that moment, what do you think he's doing? He's adding up his score. I got, okay, 6 elims is +3 for that. You get you get +2 for that, then you get +3 for the Victory Royale. 5-point game for him. Brilliant position to be in.
I'm going to be honest with you. I hate to be that guy, but that decision at the end there from Sean, granted, he doesn't know his opponent's HP remaining. Yeah. He's at 75, which means he has 7 ticks from the storm before he goes out himself. He didn't necessarily have to push out. It only put him at 6 eliminations. It didn't get him an extra elim point. Maybe a risky choice.
It was flashy. I like it.
Was flashy. The one thing that you guarantee that it did do for him, though, is if it comes down to a tiebreaker, which with that many eliminations, it probably won't, but it gives him a little bit of an advantage.
Yep. Nope, you'll love to see it. Sean winds up taking matters into his own hands there. Again, good effort from everybody in that first game. But either way, some fun stuff to kick off our night 2 of qualifiers so far. I believe we actually have Zeke down on the floor with an interview with our winner from game 1.
Guys, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. We're having fun, pal. We're having fun.
What an awesome game 1 for the qualifiers today. I'm here with the winner. Sean was taken. Sean, come over here, man. First off, congrats for slaying. So let's talk about this, man. You show up today, and you qualify after the first 2 games this morning. And then you show up here, and on game number 1, you make yourself a target, and you say, look, 6 eliminations and Victory Royale. How are you feeling after that game?
I'm feeling really good. I didn't expect it. I was going to try and hide the entire game and just make top 3, but I just got killed, so I don't know. The ball started rolling, and it all worked out.
Now, when you were getting those eliminations, were you aware? Were you like, man, that's 3, 4, 5, 6? Or were you just like, I'm just getting another game, and then you drop down on someone, and you're like, oh, that was the Victory Royale? Or were you aware of what was going on?
I mean, I was just keeping high ground, just shooting at people. There's nothing really, I don't know. I'm not trying to be cocky, but when you're on the top, it's literally, you just pop people off.
And now,
I had lucky RNG on my AR, so.
Okay, and now in those final moments, right, you're sitting up top. Did you know the player would down? Like this player had 1 HP. Did you know that? Because it felt like you waited for a while, and then you just dropped down. You were just like, hey, double barrel. Let's go, 1v1 me. Because you even dropped into the storm.
Well, since all the graphics are high on these computers, if you drop in the storm, they can't really see you. And the shotgun is it's broken, so. One shot.
Fantastic. So what is your strategy? You've got 3 more games lined up. What is your strategy going into this game? Are you just going to keep going aggro and keep slaying, or are you just going to take it easy? What are you going to do?
I'm going to go for some plays because I'm pretty sure I'm qualified now, most likely. So if I can just get some content for you guys, that'd be cool.
Well, thank you so much, man. Good luck in the rest of your games. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short 5-minute break. Don't go anywhere. We have more action coming your way after this.
for game 2 of night 2 of week 8 of the finals of the summer skirmish.
Jack, that's a lot of numbers.
It is. It is. At this point, I don't know what I'm saying half the time, but we're having a blast up here. Hope you guys are enjoying at home. Again, Courage joined by Dr. Lupo. Fantastic way to start the night there with that game 1, I think it's safe to say.
It's wonderful to see players from all platforms, we'll say, come and put on a good show. Aiden, a controller player. I'm not sure if he actually plays on console or if he just uses a controller on PC, but the accuracy, the forethought. One of the things in the clip, one of the clips we watched there that I would like to point out is that he was boogie bombed, and then he rotated out into the storm for just a second to take a ticket damage so that the boogie would drop off and he could re-engage his opponent. That's extremely... That's top tier.
200
gameplay.
IQ.
250 maybe.
Wow.
Which isn't even possible.
That high up. Either way, impressive stuff. I do believe we have ourselves some standings to take a look at to see exactly where things break down. And, well, it's no surprise. Sean at the top, 5 points already, 6 elims. Aiden, who you're mentioning, second, 7 elims and 3 points.
Painful, Ghost Bizzle, sees Joystick. A number of these players dropping a ton of eliminations, but you see even over on the right side, 14th Shido had 1 point total because he made it to top 10. No eliminations. You don't even have to engage people necessarily if you're in a bad position, because placement is also important. Top 10 gets you 1 point, and that could put you in the standings.
Over to our top 32. Here you see, literally, it's just 1 elim right now has people on the verge of being able to qualify for game 1. Obviously, still 3 more matches to go tonight. So I think that these guys will hope for a little bit more than just 1 elim, keeping them in the running for qualifying for the grand finals on Monday. Again, so many people watching online across the internet, people watching live at the venue. Thank you so much for the support we've seen here. A blast to be here at the culminating weekend of the summer skirmish. What an 8 weeks it has been. Again, some of these players have begun to make a name for themselves, earn themselves spots on some of these pro teams just from their performances up to this point. Then we got some things to share from Twitter that we've been seeing from you guys online that we'll take a look at here in a brief moment.
I'm excited. And anything that comes up, make sure if you're putting any clips out there, hashtag Summer Skirmish is super important. Social media engagement, you got to do it.
That's what they wanted me to do. I didn't know what he was saying.
I got you, Jack.
Use the hashtag. There you go. I thought we were pulling up tweets from people.
Hashtag Summer Skirmish. Please take clips from anything that you see on the stream, anything, anywhere. Any of this stuff is fantastic content, and share it with your friends. We want to see it all because these are the moments in these games. They're so high energy, and you have people rotating. There's a lot of really good information to take away.
Absolutely.
And we're going to try and do as much as we can to relay that information to you as we have it. All right.
Well, I think we should be getting into game 2 here momentarily. Either way, that we see some of our front runners so far, how it's all breaking on down, some high elim plays, the admins walking around looking like security guards at a prison, I feel like. Look at everyone's in their booths. Everyone's focused and ready.
Something to keep in mind about
look
where
at the lobby. Look at everyone
lobby.
doing the worms together.
Doing worm
that is incredible. Really intense stuff.
Something to keep in mind about the area that they're playing in. It is totally separate from where we are, so they can't hear a single thing of commentary. There's no outside sound. It's a black box. We see Saint there, a player we've had our eyes on a number of times. Hashtag Saint Squad in the chat. But let's get into game 2, Courage. The final week of Summer Skirmish. Can we get some noise in the arena here, please, at PAX? Players jumping out, Haunted Hills, Junk Junction, and even Snobby, potentially engagements happening early. It would surprise me if too many players went to the top of the villain layer. You see one kind of floating in, that white arrow on the left side. The reason being, typically, if the drops are directly under the bus at the beginning of a match, especially in competitive, players, they tend to not necessarily go there because the thought that it might be a high-pressure zone. Early engagements can be risky. If you're not on top of your loot, the speed at which you can loot, you can put yourself in a bad position. Now, our winner from last round, Sean, was taken. Dropping in, going east side past Retail. Retail, a pretty common POI for players to hit in public matches, but Sean looking over here towards the little the park here. It's got a number of loot spots, a couple chests up top that he can, he's going to try and get some material build up for those, and landing right on a weapon, which is, I mean, that's the smartest play you can make.
You know what it is? I actually have a buddy named Connor who loves to land in this area, and it's because there is 7 trillion metal.
Oh yeah,
literally
every single one of those.
Like, look at all the RVs that he's, got the ability to just break on down. He's got someone actually pretty close by. Slazen, does he have any idea that Sean is here? They're both popping big shields, it appears, as there might be an engagement early on.
Painful PvP, one of our players that scored a high number of eliminations last match, landed here in Salty Springs. He's got some neighbors that he's going to have to deal with here in a second, and the house that he dropped, that treehouse, a pretty common one because there are multiple 3 chest spawns in one house. High density loot is something you'll see a lot of players, competitive players, favor because there's more chances of landing directly on a chest. You don't have to panic. It's planning, it's coordination, and it's a lot of forethought.
So the audio in Fortnite will work, especially with chests, where if you look in the area that it is, it will actually be louder. So right there you saw he couldn't tell if there was a chest above him, so he winds up looking at it and hears it, then realizes, oh, I'm going to go to the top of the cyber tower and go and loot that thing as soon as possible.
In the background there, you saw Dooble's just kind of keeping his eyes out for a build fight happening. Just past him, there was a legendary double barrel already obtained. An Ubernoob in the north side landed at the hotel. A pretty common drop, but he's getting shot at. A little bit of back and forth right here would be a really, really good idea. You don't want to get picked out of midair, especially with only 128 HP. He's doubling back. It looks like
he wants this fight.
He wants the engagement. The green tank, the green AR, not a terrible loadout early game.
No, he just wants to double rift. He's rifting again.
He might be. Is he trying to use all the rifts to prevent his opponent from getting out of there?
Oh, there he goes. There he goes.
Up to the second one. More shots coming out there. Sketch as he's looking to get basically any damage that he can on his target. It's not necessarily about the elimination courage. It's about maybe putting pressure because you get a couple tags on him, especially because rank means quite a bit. Top 10 is a point. He's just trying to get a couple hits on him and hope that maybe somebody else eliminates him. Now Wheels, we saw eliminated late game underneath Durburger, but a quick replay. Divine, a player we were talking about earlier, had a very high blaze. He's third and a first. Gets the drop on Kutra there. The minigun, not often used, I feel like, especially in the current meta. SMGs and shotguns are favored quite a bit, Jack.
Except for maybe late game a little bit, as you see the tag there, Lucky Landing, where we currently are with multiple players involved. Monster, who won Heat 3, is actually involved in this engagement with Fuzzy. Fuzzy's just trying to keep this high ground. Blue pump, so useful early game when you've got to think Monster probably doesn't have max HP.
He did 102 damage headshot there, and Fuzzy gets an elimination, but he's not the only one left down here in the south. Back over to Greasy, we're watching Wheels and his opponent. Kind of a little top-down fight. The chest. Now, Jack, the chest sound between Wheels and Hysteria, that they can almost use that to mask themselves, right?
There was that minigun, and why you don't really see it used too often. It's not the best weapon to have, but when your loadout is a bolt action, or sorry, a hunting rifle, a deagle, and then that, yeah, it's not fun. The hand cannon, probably not the best weapon there.
Wheels and Hysteria playing cat and mouse in this house, audio being the #1 utility. Hysteria making as much noise as he can with the C4, trying to put some lines of sight between him and Wheels, see if he can get the elimination, catch him off guard. Just looking down underneath. Goes for the doors. Launch that out. Hysteria trying to get away. A 1 damage. That pump shotgun I don't think is super effective at that range, but it was either take the shot or swap and not get a shot off. So he went for what he could.
So he was immediately prepared to begin to chase down Hysteria right there. But once Hysteria built a little 1x1 and some nice little cover with that metal, that was enough to deter him from going from that fight, even when he knows Hysteria was under 100 health and he had maxed HP. That, for me, is a questionable decision. I feel like that's an elim that you kind of have to push and go for, especially with that much health and what he had at his inventory. He had the shotgun to go with. He had like 200 materials to build with. I think he had enough to go after that one.
What we were watching earlier. Bowman dropping in here. Oh, fast edit on Double. Does the replacement, immediately takes a corner out and pushes in. To Aiden, one of our high elimination players from the last game.
I wonder if he landed tilted then, because he definitely landed tilted this one, and there's the rift to go.
The rift to go.
And he's just going to hunt his opponent.
The interesting thing about rifts to go, Jack, if you're outside, if you're through a wall when one of those is popped, even maybe a floor up or down, it will still grab you on initial use. So his opponent looks like it picked him up and pulled him with him.
Imagine, yeah.
Imagine. The tap fires.
Rift to go himself? Imagine again if he opened a rift right there from the portal. But Wish, player we've seen a lot of, challenging someone up close.
Gets really accurate AR shots, gray or not. the accuracy made every difference there. The 30 damage shots, he had 4 body shots on him, and that was all she wrote. Aiden back still here and tilted. Taking shots on Alpha, this build fight. There's that rift to go. Grabbing both players, even though they weren't standing right on top of each other. The proximity of that you can even pull opponents out from inside of buildings. They land at the same time, and Aiden gets a quick elimination with a shotgun.
Wow. Impressive stuff. Dr. David. His opponent's going to use a rift to go just in front of him, and now he'll follow it on up. As he's just trying to spot where did this guy run to. Typically, if you're seeing someone use a rift to go in that scenario, they're playing it as like a, hey, I need to get out of here. It's like a defensive, I've got to leave this fight. I'm not in a good spot.
Aiden looks like he potentially missed a jump and had to drop back down and build a bit of cover for himself. Sorry, Cat's Toss, my apologies, got the names backwards there. Aiden, the one with the top-down view, pushing and getting as much damage, and every little bit counts. And he gains knowledge even from just hitting one time, because you can see whether or not the damage is white or blue will tell you whether or not the opponent has shield or if they're down to just HP, and that can make the difference between an aggressive push or maybe slow playing a little bit.
And if you're wondering how, and look at this from Aiden. Look at this from Aiden.
Jump shot, swapping.
This should be a quick little cleanup here for him, you'd think. Here's the minis getting popped. He's going to force this, wanting to make sure his opponent cannot heal through the aggression he's putting on. The drum gun, this 50 bullet clip is so good. Yes, the reload's a little bit longer, but it is so worth it in these spots. He can't get out. It seems he's trapped. Aiden, can he finish the limb? There it is.
That 52 damage headshot.
Another point earned.
This is why even the green drum gun right now is one of the most powerful and
100%.
most utilized weapons, because up close, when you're at the point where there's no damage drop off, a 52 damage headshot takes an opponent out
50
in
bullet clip.
4 hits. 4.
Yep.
If you hit all headshots, and that's
pretty
incredibly
good.
fast.
It's pretty good. I'm being honest with you.
I think that's the understatement of the century. Giving super accurate shots there from that green suppressed SMG, but the stink grenade, Logan having to back out. He's got one on him as well. Very low HP. Stuck.
Look at this zone.
Edge. We're seeing a lot of this. This
first zone was half off the map.
Southwest corner of the map getting quite a bit of play during this qualifier's second game, and we've got kind of a greasy, shifty area focused. This time tilted, still involved. And if you're Kevy, you're out in Dusty. You can gather up a couple mushrooms, make a little bit of a play on some materials, but you have to move soon.
Joystick, the quick peek there. A little bit of damage. You feel naked when you don't have shields, Lupo. And I can tell you that's how Joystick's feeling with how fast he's peeking and immediately building for cover.
He's not going to be pushing too aggressively, whether or not his opponent has shield at that point, because getting third party could mean just a quick one shot or like a one burst if all the shots hit. It can put him out of the game. He's going to stay up top, like you said, the very fast little uncrouch, shoot, and recrouch and hide on the ramp. Positioning the ramp can be pretty important too. You see he's kind of shifting around. If he's looking on the opposite side, it would not surprise me if he did a quick edit and change the orientation of the ramp. Now on your screen right now, those top 3 players, even though one is eliminated, they all come away with 1 point already in game 2. Aiden, Crashy, and Airco. But Airco already eliminated, which means Crashy and Aiden, they need push for a couple more eliminations, 2 more apiece will get them another point. That'll put them at 2 points, but they're in a pretty comfortable spot. Even just 1 point, like we've been saying, can mean the difference between making it to the grand finals or not. And Teenage here, stop watching the pushing the opponent. What a shot on Ash.
But here's the thing, not able to loot because he only has 7 health. So yes, he wins that fight, but he's immediately got to start sprinting. Can't even get kind of his little gifts that were left behind. The boogie bomb. Uh-oh.
They got to get the boogie bomb. He's got to rotate down. Stays out long enough. The boogie wears off, but he's getting. This is Grenader Jake, one of our guest casters from yesterday, now playing in the qualifiers today.
That's incredible. Cast yesterday, qualifies today.
The jack of all trades, I would say.
Or maybe the Jake of all trades.
Jake of all trades.
I'm leaving. That was abysmal.
Okay, courage.
Oh, man.
I thought I was the one that made bad jokes.
I love you, Ben. Let's see how Takata plays this one, though. Both players getting third-partied, one from the west, one from the south. No materials left. He's kind of panicking, and great, you picked up 9 metal.
It's not going to get you very far. A name we watched earlier stuck in the bottom of Shifty Shafts and 1v1 versus opponent. Gets quick at it. He has an opportunity, gets it on Fuzzy, a jump shot, and uses a line of sight to block the explosion from the C4. An intelligent play and very good positioning there.
And just to take note, that was the third limb for Lene in this one.
Oh, the trap.
Oh, he sprayed it down just in time.
Tristan in the middle of that 1v1, as soon as the trap goes down, decides to stop shooting his opponent, shoot the wall out, and then re-engage. That could have gone bad very quickly.
Remember, traps doing 150 damage. It's a lot, is how much they do, basically.
150 is, in fact, a lot. I just checked.
It most certainly is. Wait, what is the right side of this map right now? Look at everyone.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players roughly in that little ball, plus another one south and north. A couple of them stuck, hanging out in maybe a safe 1-by-1. But we have a ton of players on top of each other. But this is the southeast corner on top of S Hill.
Is this a tilted landing?
We might have a tilted.
Sorry, tilted ending, not landing. My goodness. Lazy boy Chino just bouncing around. He's got one player close to him here. So when these players in these scenarios, for people at home wondering, when we say audio cues, they're listening for if the footsteps are on wood or if they're on the ground. They're listening for if they begin to break walls, if they're breaking metal, if they're breaking wood or brick. They're listening for audio cues if the players are above or below them. You see Aiden Hunt. Could this be the end?
No. Accuracy.
Aiden, another limb.
It's about 4 right now. I feel like if he keeps this consistency, he might set a record thus far for the qualifier eliminations. He's already got 4. He came away, what, with 7 last round?
Yep. I think the most yesterday was Turkey Lips with 14 across 4 games. So that puts him already 11, and he's still alive here in game 2.
His boy and Rex, top of this hill right now. 40 seconds before they're going to have to start rotating, and they have quite a bit of travel time ahead of them. We have 5 players currently alive, by the way, with 3+ elims, plus 2 more that were already eliminated with 3+ elims.
Wait, he got another one.
Aiden's now
Aiden
5.
now got a 5th elim.
Gives him 2 more points.
Is he the GOAT? Is he the GOAT? Is he the best player ever?
He might be. He might be.
And he's just leaving. He's fine with leaving that.
This is an intelligent rotation, too. Whether or not, he doesn't need to know if Joystick is one shot. It would be useful information. But right now, he's looking at the zone. He's saying, I have 5 elims. I'm not necessarily guaranteeing elimination from that fight over there. Multiple players could potentially be above me, so now's the time to move out.
We mentioned so much yesterday how people could be more nervous at these LAN environments. They're going from practicing against some of the best online to seeing them face-to-face, sitting to their left and right. Aiden looks unfazed.
He looks like he's at home sitting on his couch playing.
Right. And now he's entered tilted. Uh-oh. Shots coming in from Big Red. Will he try to fall back in towards Tacos and possibly drop a trap down? I feel like that's kind of his defensive play.
You heard the C4 bounce, maybe potentially gets the tree or another surface over there. An earlier push, an earlier toss of the C4.
I thought that's what he would do.
Stay inside, bandage. He's got multiple med kits, which is perfect. That C4 toss from the player in the middle of Big Red, if it had come just a little bit earlier and maybe use the angle off the wall, the building next to Aiden, could have gotten that elimination from blast radius, but a little bit of hesitation made it so that Aiden could rotate out and hide inside that building, like you said.
I feel like if you're at that point for Aiden, you're just kind of hoping people forget you're in there. Let others get third-partied, have to reset, think about other fights. You see all these quick edits coming on in. Lenane just staying alive. Boyer just outside there of Shifty. Nice there as well.
Saint looking like he's in a fantastic position at the top of that.
And look at this. Painful was in second in elims just below Aiden last game. Consistency is key, and these two understand that.
It's like Okada was just eliminated with 4 eliminations of his own, 1 short of getting the 2nd point for eliminations, but even just 1, it's a valiant effort. 30 remaining here, 1:23 until the zone starts to move. I believe once this zone closes is when the next circle is, that's when the storm starts to mix things up and everybody's got to relocate.
Absolutely. As we see just how they break on out of tilted here. Aiden, it's like he's invisible. He's just running across tilted.
You hear the footsteps, trying to go for that shotgun shot over the top, just get a little peek, and his opponent is going to back down underneath. And the traps are coming out. You got to be safe and careful walking through there. They could even be on the surface above. There are multiple traps. This is not how. though.
Are you
185.
Are you kidding me? I'm now a fan of Aiden.
Look at his face, too. It's like nothing even happened.
This would be back-to-back 7 elim games if he can earn himself one more elimination. Ridiculous, ridiculous stuff. And he's actually in another fight with Saint. He's in another fight on the map. We'll have to keep you updated on that one, as you see Hysteria still alive here. He got 11th in game 1, was 1 elim. He in that last fight was 1 elim away from earning that top 10 for a point.
Aggressive push and get Saint. That's 7 eliminations for the second game in a row.
I am speechless. I'm going to say right now, folks, can we give it up, please, in the venue for the performance we're seeing from Aiden right now? Mind-blowing stuff. 14 elims has already tied #1 from yesterday, which took them 4 games to reach that point.
Nobody else seems to be playing nearly as aggressively as he does, and he's taking advantage of that. Maybe it's a thought process.
Is this 8? Is this 8? Is this 8? Oh,
trap.
Okay, the trap stole it.
He only took 2 ticks from that, the stink bomb right there. He's still in a good spot. 70 elims. There's 23 people left, and he's smack dab in the middle of the safe zone.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to play over the aggressive. He's got to take the trap out. You got a bit of loot in there. Watch
he needs the AR ammo, and he knows that.
You got to remember earlier too, there were 2 traps that were placed in here. So hopefully he recalls that there is another trap still in that building. Oh my gosh. Wow. Magnum with a swipe on an opponent trying to push up a ramp right there.
At this point, we're watching the Aiden qualifiers because he is far and away our top player to this point. There's everyone inside tilted. Wall Hack Jack under 70 HP. Haste Loomsy under 50 HP. You had another player in Tacos Week as well. And Aiden early rotating again.
He's moving in the open and no one's shooting at him.
And it's like everyone's afraid. They know. Don't push towards the woman with the library glasses.
Absolutely not. This Rook skin maybe giving him superpowers. I have no idea.
Okay, we take back everything we just said.
I don't think, regardless of the outcome of this, there's no way this is a caster curse.
How?
The trap he placed earlier got another elimination.
The trap comes into play. Now this player being third party, he wasn't able to clean up the elim.
Boyer gets joystick there. Aiden looking for his 9th elim, but 8 eliminations in a single game. He's got a slurp ticking right now, so he has a buffer of HP still going up. He's in a great spot. He's in the safe zone. His materials are ridiculous. Intelligent play is going to guarantee Aiden the win. He knows what to do. He knows how to do it, obviously.
Aiden could literally leave after game 2 and catch his dinner reservation and qualify for Monday. And if he can you bring me back something? A little breaded roll?
Jack, are you always hungry? Shots here, third party.
I am, actually.
Loomsy gets Cole in the feed there with a trap from earlier as well. Aiden's looking to secure that 9th elim. Painful on top of him, though. The second place elimination player, they're stacked on top of each other, which means you have 2 Slayers here that might get forced into an engagement.
An Aiden chant now breaking.
There's actually an Aiden chant here at PAX West right now.
And I'm just in awe as to what I am watching. He's just chilling at the moment. Painful in the same build as well. The Storm beginning to move on in as people will have to follow on up. Wall Hack Jack just actually dropped to the zone.
16 players left. The Storm's got 20 seconds till it closes, which means 6 more players go down, and then people start to pick up points based just on their placement.
Yep. What does Aiden do here? Looks like he'll just hide on out for now as we swap perspectives for a moment. This is Painful, who's above him in that same structure. 4 limbs, 1 more elimination for Painful, and that'll net him a second point to continue to put him separated from the rest of the pack. And look at everyone in that structure. Painful, Sen Animal, Aiden, Boyer, Loomsy. Saf is still alive with 200 HP as well. Aiden wants this.
Slow
Aiden's hunting.
Play.
Actually, okay, no, his ear's itching.
Closes his edit out there just to make sure there's no one.
Now Aiden's hunting. And what the theme I keep seeing, Lupo, is he is absolutely the first to just charge on up and move to the best positioning for the next zone early on.
I can't tell if it's just an incredible amount of confidence and knowledge that other players are rotating slowly, or if it's so gutsy. Shots coming from above. He's getting third party, maybe even fourth party, 50 HP remaining. He's got to defend with this turbo build as fast as he can.
He's trying to edit out.
He went for the edit to back out. 8 eliminations. Even more than the first game, Jack. Nobody else is putting up numbers like that except for him right now.
Yeah, nobody.
PvP doing an excellent job of his own, though. 15 left. He's got 4 of his own. Gets rocketed by Lenane. Caught off guard. I shouldn't have said a thing, but Lenane making an intelligent play there and saw him from above.
Lenane, look at everyone having to move through that zone right now. Lenane is in a brilliant position to spray on down. Look at all the layers being built, and he says, you know what? I got to catch up with these. Rockets in hand. It's time to throw out the explodes. One drops on in. Gonna collapse everyone to the floor as he continues to build above these players. 9 now left. Everyone's still alive. Just earned a point. Eliminates his teammate there. More pushing out forward. Only 6 left as Lenane continues to keep this high ground.
The number of layers, the number of little chambers that are being built here.
He needed the materials. He had to go for it.
At one point in there, it looked like some players were even holding hands almost. Tristan Hip going down to Boyer, an SMG in the feed, but Lenane has the launcher out. He's looking for it. It's not the only explode he has either, Jack. He has a single C4 left, which could come in key for dropping a structure late game, get an opportunity on another player. Timing.
Multiple remote explosives being thrown. You see Lenane for a second was wondering if that was his own structure. He only has about 11 more materials he can build. Is he going to try to time this rocket? He is. He tried to blow up the remote explosives as his rocket went to hit. He just barely missed it.
A little bit more distance would have made a big difference.
Literally,
there.
one more block would have been enough.
Looked like the rocket detonated the C4, which is it's an excellent high IQ play. It's just the distance needed to be different, but he does have it. He's got a top-down view, but like you said, low build count. He's got to start making moves down onto players. Otherwise, the third party here gets the shots, can't secure the elim. He's starting to take damage from the storm, but he's got to push in 4 left. He's got 5.
2 rockets could be enough to secure 2 elims right here. There's one. How about another?
3 remaining.
Doesn't quite connect. 3 players left. 6 elims right now for Lenane. Can he wind up securing maximum points with the 7 elim bonus and the Victory Royale bonus? That would be, I believe, our first 6-point game we've had yet this weekend. There's a shot.
Oh! The edit from above from Animal right through the metal surface there. He caught a window and took the shot with a shotgun and got Lenane on the rotation. 1v1 Animal.
Animal building out up, and this earns him not only another point for potentially the Victory Royale, but if he gets the final elim, that puts him at 3 eliminations. He's got all he needs. I've got Animal as my favorite to win this game. Let's see if he can secure it here. 10 seconds left in the zone. He's trying to get aggressive for the push. He knows how much it means to get this final elim and the Victory Royale. He can essentially stamp his ticket to Monday's qualifiers if he can get this here, or sorry, the finals if he gets it here. The shot's coming on in. Tries to get the floors and the pyramids going. One player just below. He's going to go to pop the mini, but then has to reset as the shots continue to rain on in. That drum gun so good at cutting down these layers. Smart play to reset. He'll build up top, but again, the volley of bullets continues to spray on in. Animal, when will be his cue to go for it all? He's trying to edit this pyramid. There you go. He's getting somewhere.
Trying to create a hole to drop down through right there. He finds an opportunity. You notice he built up, like you said, built a second layer.
It's a shot. Weak. There's
there
it is. Sav gets cut down. More points earned as we have our victor for game 2.
Excellent gameplay from a number of players over the course of that. He's got that number 1 holding it up, and that last elimination gives him 2 more points. Let's take a look back at what just happened. This rotation, the timing, the decision to drop down, and he does get the 55 damage crit there. Switches to the gold AR to finish. Guarantees him the win.
Once he gets that 55 clean HP damage, I think he's going to himself, this is a dub. This is really, I'm feeling quite good. And he knew it. Immediately starts spraying with that drum gun. Has the legendary assault rifle if needed. The victory there for Sen Animal in game number 2 will put us halfway done with tonight's action. And so far, it has been quite intense. I love, you know someone's going off when there is a battle royale game like Fortnite, where there are so many stories, so many players, so much going on, but one player, Aiden, can not only get a chant from the crowd.
People were actually yelling his name here. It was incredible.
But then the majority of the camera time, because the whole story is him.
Well, when you're putting up 8 eliminations in a competitive BR environment, it puts him at 15, which, like you were saying before, Turkey Lips yesterday had 14, but I think Aiden right now has the most eliminations in any qualifier thus far. And we're not even done. We have tomorrow as well. We have 2 more games tonight. He could continue a tear. And he's playing in a way that we haven't seen anybody else thus far play. Multiple times we cut to directly to his feed. And he was running in the open, Jack. No one was taking shots. It happened in Greasy. It happened again outside of Tilted.
It's like he's calling the bluffs of everyone. Like,
yes.
I know you all want a Limbs, but guess what? You say you're going to play for them, you're more worried about the top 10. And I feel like as the game, and I'm seeing it more and more, as the game's getting towards like the top 20, everyone's like afraid to peak. And we're going to go ahead and roll some Aiden replays here as we talk over this. But it's one of those things where he's recognizing, hey, there's 15 left. No one wants to be the next one to die. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to position myself, run out in the open, and call the bluff on everyone that they'll peak and put myself in the best spot to secure a win or another elim.
It's incredible to see gameplay from players like this. And the other thing I've noticed about the way that he's been playing, more so especially in the first game, he's taking loadouts that are not necessarily common. Right there he has one that you'll see quite a few players run, but even the first game he had the purple burst, he had a compact SMG, which a lot of players are choosing the drum gun over it just because of the pure amount of damage it can do up close. And it seems like he's versatile with whatever he's running.
Here it is again. It just puts himself in a great spot to secure quick, clean eliminations. This was the whole fight inside of the kind of blue-red corner building. He knows the opponent's placing traps and running up the stairs, and he perfectly times it. Where Sloth goes to peek, he says, anything you can do, I'm basically one step ahead, my friend. This is against Saint, who has been playing every week in the skirmish, it seems like, with OPS and SCT from TSM. Wins this 1v1 as clean as can be. Ridiculous stuff. There's a look at him right now, tongue out, excited. As yeah, he's feeling good after 2 games.
Really good pursuits from him. Even that, like you said, that push on Saint in the middle of the pawn shop building, down bottom of Tilted. He's just so aggressive. Not everybody would go for something like that, and I think his sense of knowing when to push, it's becoming more and more apparent every single time we watch him.
Now, Aiden did well. He had nice limbs, but he did not win game number 2. That was Sen Animal. We'll take a look at the final moment as he winds up securing the victory. Again, the difference in what 2 points could be here, Dr. Lupo, is massive on the grand scale of things.
Now, aggressive gameplay might be one thing, but Animal actually, right there, you see he was the one to eliminate Aiden, saying you might be taking out the riffraff, but I'm going to take you out, and he secures that elimination. Also gets the win right here, eliminating Saf as the last one. Excellent gameplay, good timing on his choice to push or not push and wait.
Yep.
He built up that last engagement. He built up multiple layers above his opponent, Saf, who was trying to shoot up underneath to stop him from healing.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty common mechanic, a pretty common maneuver from players that, especially ones that are stuck down at the bottom. You can hear the cue from the shield, the mini being popped, and so he's decided to build up a second layer, kind of hide himself through the wood planks, and so he could get the heals off as he needed them before he made the push.
Well, I believe we do, as we get ready for game number 3, have to catch up with our winner there from game 2. Or no, it's actually not even our winner from game 2. It's the man himself, Aiden. Is he golfing?
Yes.
He's so relaxed that he's...
Disgusting. Oh, hey guys, what's up? Zeke here. We're just hanging out playing putt-putt. How are you guys doing?
Good. It's good to see Aiden up there having some fun after his performance so far.
Always, you know it. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, the people's hero. Aiden, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, dude. I'm just slaying out and Tilted every game.
There you go, Aiden. Now, I know you didn't hear this, but I'm going to be the first to tell you. Everyone there at the audience is literally chanting your name. When you're sitting there dropping eliminations, how are you feeling dropping these crazy bombs on people here in the qualifiers?
2 more games to go, 7 more kills each game.
You heard it here, the Slayer himself. Now, is there anything you want to say to your fans out there?
I got you guys. Mom and Dad, I love you guys so much. I'm gonna win the rest of these games for you.
There you have it. Lupo, Courage, back to you. We're going to keep playing the game.
I'm getting Aiden tattooed on my body.
Absolutely. Does he realize he actually could just play putt-putt for the rest of these qualifiers and he's good to go? There's literally no way he can't make it to Monday.
The man just literally called that he's going to get 7 more limbs each of the next 2 games.
I'm going to be honest with you, Jack, it wouldn't surprise me at this point if he actually put on a show like that. He has been absolutely dominant thus far the first 2 games. I am excited to see what Game 3 and Game 4 have in store for him.
I don't think I got 7 limbs in all the weeks of the skirmishes I played.
I'm right there with you.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
This has been absolutely, it's been wonderful to watch these plays. Whether he's winning or not, the winners are still putting on a crazy dominant show.
Yep.
They're making really good choices. The edits are so fast from a number of these players. And if you're at home and you're trying to improve your own gameplay, please make sure you're paying attention to the way that these players are playing, the choices they're making. One thing I was going to point out earlier too, Jack, on the screen as you're watching, the keybinds for all of these keyboard and mouse players, especially specifically.
Yep.
Keep track of those because they put them in positions that are as fast as possible for them, because swapping between which surface they're building is key. And if you're using the default keybinds, you're potentially putting yourself at a disadvantage unless you have spider fingers that can reach the F keys at the top.
100%. 100%. It's whatever feels most comfortable for you. But before we get to game 3, the last thing we got to do, where are we at with the standings? Let's see them. Where is everyone at? And wow.
15 eliminations, 6 points total. And like you said, 1 point from the qualifiers yesterday was enough to put you in. That's 6 times qualification potentially for Aiden already.
Can you see why we're talking so much about it? I'm sorry if people get mad at us. Because
that being said, Sean was played yesterday and didn't make it through, but today he's putting on an excellent show, and he's not the only one. Animal, Painful, Boyer, you have a number of players here bringing home high elimination counts. On the right side, Tokana, 7 eliminations, putting him at 2 points, another 5. You have to remember the top 33 from the qualifiers this evening move on to the grand finals on Monday. Jack, $1.5 million.
$1.5 million. I'm going to be honest with you. That is not the right score for Kevy.
I don't think Kevy has 16 elims at 320 points.
320 points. Kevy won everything.
They'll get that corrected, I'm sure, by the time we bring the standings around again. But the gameplay tonight has been exceptional already. Very aggressive from a number of players. You'll love to see it. It's exciting, and people here are getting energized for a lot of the aggressive gameplay, a lot of the shots.
It's fun to see. There's actually, there's all sorts of stuff going on, all sorts of reasons to be here at PAX West. I've got a couple, codes in my wallet for the exclusive PAX West spray.
You're not the only one,
Maybe
Jack.
I'll go around and pass a couple out for the loudest people in the crowd.
Who do you think who here could be the loudest?
Who would be the loudest for one of those codes? I've got my eyes on a few. It's those bean bags that are so comfortable that people are they're just loving it. Actually, let me test another thing. Who wants to get into game 3? Yes. Yes. Fine. It was loud enough. We'll go ahead. Game 3's ready. Let's get into it.
Here we go. Game 3, day 2, week 8. The bus coming from the southeast corner, pushing across. It looks like a number of players potentially hitting Paradise and even the little Wild West town down there in the southeast corner. But a lot of players choosing to jump out and float to the north side. Lazy Links, Risky Reels, even Tomato Temple now that the temple has been built. Rest in peace, Tomato Town. A lot of these spots are pretty typically heavy in public matches, but we've said in the past might not be the case this time around. But Aiden dropping Tilted, which it's looking like might be kind of a ghost town. He and Loomsy sharing this. Comes away with a hunting rifle to start and a full shield. And he did just make the promise, Jack, of 7 eliminations and victories both of these remaining games. And I said before, I'll say it again, I believe him.
Seems like everyone's been scared off from Tilted from what they've seen earlier on, but in the other areas of the map, very popular landing spot, this Westworld, this outer town just outside Paradise Palms. So about 5 people per game landing here yesterday. Now it's Payday in an awkward engagement. He's down to just 60 HP as Tatlow is pushing for what could be his first elim of the game. We did see Payday had 0 building materials left, down to just maybe 5-6 hit points.
The sound cue there.
Should have this, right? He should have this. There you go.
And he does. Secures the elimination on Payday, another controller player, just like a number of other players we've seen here. But that push on the outside, you could hear he was waiting for the dirt sound, the footsteps in the dirt, definitely different from the wood panels on the floor on the inside. That kind of knowledge, the awareness is extremely important. Sloth looking for shots down at the number of players in the residential side of Retail Row. Pretty common drop for a lot of players, home and native land here. But he's almost caught off guard with the shots up top, but returns fire almost instantly and lasers Ultra down from the top of that building.
And look at what he's got already.
The healing,
Chug Jug, minis.
Vlad and King B looking for an engagement here. Gets the shotgun shot off, goes through them. misses a shot on the way down, a second shot in midair.
Oh.
And that actually costs him the elimination on Vlad. It could have been his first one for the game, but Vlad eliminated himself via the ground, Jack.
Via the ground, taking another victim. As you see, really, King B only had about one clip left of bullets for that engagement. Might have worked out for him there. Sloth, we just saw pick up one limb, a long drum gun fight, decides, hey, this is I'm no longer wanting to play this kind of 50-50. He'll reset. No!
Bandit catches him off guard.
Third-partied.
Potentially some accuracy issues in there at certain points. Do you think it's nerves? Do you think it's the rarity of the weapon, Jack? What causes that?
You can toss it up to a couple things. All I know is it's got to improve from him if he's going to do better next time. You see Bandit rewarded with the Chug Jug, and well, from 20 HP to 200, he's feeling real good and ready for another fight.
Almost max effectiveness down here in Salty. This is actually a pretty common drop for Flower. He and I played it together in the past. He likes to go to Chimney Rock often and then push into Salty because there's a number of chests that drop there, and not very many players will land directly on Chimney and move into Salty. This here, Gorilla getting shots on Flower. 100 shield, 100 HP, not enough. Gorilla not even taking a point of damage there. Picks up some minis. He's in an excellent spot here now.
That's one of those positions in those houses where you just kind of bounce up and down, use that jump straight. And Flower didn't even know where to look. He was caught off guard. Next thing you know, he's above him. Already 2 shots have gone out. That's why, in those scenarios, I really do like that consistent output of the TAC shotgun. We just kind of popped into Ada for a second. Yes, he has 0 limbs, but the man's already got 1,000 material in his inventory. Fantastic for so early in the game.
Tilted a pretty common drop in the past to not come out with a whole ton of material especially if it's a very heated drop. But those pallets in the bottom of the new building are a common farm spot. Those pallets, they're so good for harvesting wood. So he's here. So he's actually one of the players, I believe, last round, depending, hopefully we can gather some info on this, but I believe he's removed a number of very competitive players from the game. I think he's looking to try and do it again here. What that edit and build. What a maneuver, Jack. He replaces the edit, jumps out, and places a surface all during one jump. So fast from these players, and he's trying to stay ahead of the movement of his opponent. That's going to be tough, trying to edit away.
Brilliant engagement so far. That's Airco. Bouncing back and forth, you see just outside Fatal Fields. What an limb this could be. This would be his first one of this game 3. Remember, we are just playing 4 games in these late night qualifiers, so you get to the point where people are going to have to make some desperate plays if they want to get on the board. Grenades coming on in. Cease again immediately reacts and responds accordingly. Edits coming in from either side. Love the focus on this fight right now. More grenades being thrown. Cease deciding to play this low ground, falling on down as Airco continuing to listen, try to spot where Cease could be.
So on the top right corner, basically a wide angle shot of the engagement as it happens. The spectate tools, Jack, for this are incredible.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We're getting angles that we have not gotten in the past, something like this. But a cut over to Nazgul versus Bizzle. Bizzle, as we said before, very common to see him put up big numbers, and Nazgul catches the raw end of that long-range TAC shotgun shot, gets the elimination. I'm back over here to Cease. What a spray down. Airco getting eliminated during an aggressive push up the ramp. But they met face to face, and that SMG, it'll just tear you up.
That was kind of his last ditch effort right there, I believe, and unfortunately doesn't go his way. Here's a look at Grenadier Jake. Grenadier Jake, sorry.
Grenadier Jake?
I don't know.
Grenadier
I'm making
Jack?
stuff up. I'm making stuff up at this point.
This is just east of Junk Junction. This is a pretty common drop in competitive games too, because it's not labeled, and there is quite a bit of loot out here. Plus the metal. If you
100%.
You're in an opportunity to, you have an opportunity to rotate into Junk, which has tons of metal to farm up, and metal is super important in late game competitive games, because it has the highest initial HP, starts at 110, which means out of the gate you place it in front of an opponent, you have just a little bit longer to put yourself in a better position. Dooley's shots from Lane, someone we kept our eyes on here, the accuracy, and he needed it and he got it. Wow. See these drop downs. That is a very, that's a common tactic from competitive players. They'll put the walls during a fall.
Common tactic from top level pro players.
Yes.
Not common from anybody else, as that's one of the tougher things to do in movement.
Pacifist catching Gorilla off guard there. Back over to Jake. This metal gonna come in handy with that high initial HP, gets the shots and gets the elimination on Megalomaniac. They were stuck on top of each other, and Jake took advantage of it, even though he's at low resource. The low material count is kind of it's a cue for a lot of these players to either choose to push or maybe to back out, and Jake said now's the time to push. He's got 2 eliminations, puts him at the point where 1 more will get him a point. But right now there is only 1 player. C9 Bandit has 4 eliminations to his name. Low HP currently. I believe he's, based on what I'm seeing on the board in front of us, trying to pop a medkit to push his health all the way up. But 1 more elimination will get him 2 points this game. He's the only one right now with any elimination points.
Crashy bouncing around, trying to chase his limit of the storm, and he's doing this. Oh my gosh, and you see the frustration. So here's why he does that. You're thinking, no, why are you pushing into the storm? It's because he already had 2 elims. He basically went for it all, pushed on in, tried to secure that third elim to get 1 point. Kevy greets him as he opens the door with a shotgun, and, well, unfortunately for Crashy there, Kevy comes out on top.
A moment ago, Bandit, actually our top elimination player, was just eliminated himself.
Here's the look.
Loomsy versus Aiden, back and tilted. And Aiden actually gets caught off guard. Goes out game 3 with 0 elims. What you have to remember, folks, it doesn't really matter because he's guaranteed, I would say at this point, to make it all the way to the grand finals on Monday. I don't think we've seen any emotion from him thus far, win or lose, to be honest with you.
He showed more motion golfing to a golf hole that wasn't even there on the mini golf course. Than when he was eliminated there. Shows his thought process.
Talking about earlier, Bandit, the most eliminations and not even alive anymore. Boyer now securing 3 eliminations, full HP, full shield, which puts him with +1 point based on elimination count, and he's the only other player right now with 3 or more.
See all the epic rarity weapons there in the weapons tab. I love that. Multiple epic assault rifles, multiple double-barrel shotguns. Spades, you see, actually jumps as he gets hit there. Was not expecting it. Looking for potential pyramid, doesn't actually get it. Trying to build again for the high ground. I think he's secured that for the moment, but again, quick little edit actions from both sides, ramping above his opponent, trying to match these builds, trying to keep above. Gets chunked again by the shotgun. It's looking more and more like this is an unwinnable battle. Unless he can go for the quick reset, can't get the shot off in time. Still these edits, trying to match his opponent's build. Does get a tag there, not too much damage though, as he'll just reset and probably pop some minis. No, he's going to keep going.
Still pushing. This is aggressive gameplay. Spades almost getting pyramided out there. Catches a shot on his opponent who's trying to drop down.
Now he's got to go for it. Now he's got to rush this fight. He still has multiple remote explosives, if that's maybe the outlet he wants to take, but Spades slowly dropping down, and no! No!
Spades.
No!
It's actually going to cost Joystick an elimination. Spades died of his own volition there as the structure was going down, which, I mean, Joystick right now at 0 elims, even getting to just 1 for tiebreakers would have been fantastic. He's still alive, though. He has quite a bit of healing. He can buffer up against anybody that happens to push right now. You see the vending machine. Some players hopefully taking advantage of those. There's a med kit available in there as it was rotating through, but hopefully Joystick saw it, because if he didn't, he's missing out on another 69 HP. Getting to 150 could be key.
He needs mats before he can even do anything with it. He only had 45 metal, so can't even purchase it yet. We'll see an update later on how that all plays on out. Kevy earlier on got that shotgun limb just on the edge of the zone, continuing to watch his back. Is that C9 Shizzy? Okay, that is. He's going to fall on down.
The fall damage and the shots from Kevy coming together and putting him in a pretty rough spot. Plus the zone's moving in, so he can't really take a breather right now. He does have 10 bandages, but he might not have time to use them.
Oh, that's not going to help either. Takes even more damage.
Kevy takes advantage of it, secures the elim. That puts Kevy here at 3 eliminations. That's +1 point. And he's sitting pretty with healing. He's got an excellent loadout. That's a gold AR, the drum gun, it's blue, and a purple heavy shotgun. A lot of players would kill to have that setup.
Oh, I think this is done for Hysteria.
That looked like potentially a bad weapon swap in there. I think I saw the pickaxe come out immediately after the edit, and I would bet he's trying to go to a shotgun.
So you'll see so many times when players get in these little builds, they start breaking down every wall that's not theirs because they want to have the ability to edit whatever's around them. It's happening right there. We did just cut away, but that's exactly what the player on your screen was doing. It's because you want the ability to control whatever happens with those walls. Unfortunately for Hysteria, he was in that 1-by-1, but the player who was pushing him got control of the wall, had the ability to edit it, and Hysteria had no quick answer.
Bottom right there. Third-party shots coming there from last. It's an excellent position. Looking over Lazy Links on the map there for a second, you saw a lot of players getting pushed in there from the east and southeast side. Even Loot Lake right now is going to be, there's going to be a lot of action there. As you see here, we cut across here. Look at the number of players built up in basically little boxes around each other. Backboarding behind Ranger. No fall damage, no explosive damage, but Ranger brought down from above, fighting underneath.
Siege just got nailed by remote explosives. Still chats one below him. Gonna go ahead and break on down. Not there quite yet. That's an edited pyramid. As he just lost the high ground. Just like that, he just lost the high ground. And now the whole script has been flipped. He's got no builds. He can't go up there himself. Chat's basically just hoping that Enigma kind of forgets about him, I think. If you're wondering, you know, why is he using an SMG there? It's because he's trying to break through that wall because he's low on AR ammo. This is actually, well, you're going to see in a second who does lose this fight.
Vide versus Myth.
There goes TSM Myth to Vide.
Vide immediately got shot afterwards. I'll try and check to see if the elimination happened on him, but Myth is a name that we've been watching for to show up a little more often than feed, and it hasn't happened too much yet, but these qualifiers aren't over yet. We've seen players come from even just the last game and drop a big elimination count, get high placement, and secure a spot in the grand finals in the final day.
Enigma just peeking from up top. Staying at this build. Again, you see these top players, they'll do this fall where they place the walls and the ramp to follow. Quickly disengages.
A minute and a half. The storm rotation happening now, Courage, and this is going to cause a lot of engagements to happen between these players. Carlos getting caught off guard, actually catching an opponent off guard, gets Cease on rotation. He was just kind of crouching in his box, waiting for movement from his opponents, and that's exactly how things played out. It's a very forward-thinking movement there. He didn't have to move early. He had enough buffer time against the storm, and the opponents that he was potentially captured in by, they had to move earlier. They were closer to the storm. He just had to wait.
Storm moving in, everyone having to react. Chuck Nasty staying alive, building one by ones on the left side of your screen. You got Jay Cuddy still alive. We saw him get cut down last game with that shotgun as Kuptra trying to force the engagement. That was down onto Rex. So many tactical shotguns being used, and I'm liking him more and more.
That's 3 eliminations right there for Kuptra. Puts him +1 point, which is huge. If you reference yesterday's qualifiers, he could be in a great position already. Your Saint, a player we've seen a number of times here. I caught off guard in Tilted last round. But right now he's at the top of the hill, the southwest corner of the hotel. A very top-down view of a lot of players. And he's got a couple friends right underneath him. Looks like Tendon is sneaking around in the base of that tower, too. Materials aren't terrible for a late game engagement. 500 can keep you alive for quite a while, but if you start getting aggressively pushed by somebody, it might not be enough.
Quickly editing that roof. This next zone, I'm actually really interested to see where it lands, because if it starts to go up towards this mountain and players have to push this high ground, we know what happens, Lupo.
Pacifist gets caught off guard there.
Whenever that comes into play.
There's going to be a lot of players that get scraped off on that mountain. The storm it is ruthless when it comes to positioning sometimes.
General at 4 limbs. Just panicking in that one by one, trying to get those minis off in time.
We got Lenane flying in from above. Look at the top of that tower, see if we can make a play. Potentially pushing for elimination soon.
Tien has a big shield still to use, not electing to pop it, with it only really giving him 34. Maybe waiting until later.
34 to me, Jack, feels like enough that using the shield now, especially because the rotation will happen soon, I feel like it's a better call to just use it and get as big of an HP and shield buffer as you can.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Logan, see how weak he is at the top of that build. And now it is when it begins to get awkward as Bumboy takes down Colton. I love the reactions each time. It's like, oh, nearly had it. Oh, United's Ashton is actually still in this, as well as CLG Wish. So some of those bigger organizations still with representation late here in a Game 3. Again, we appreciate everyone tuning on in and watching the Fortnite Summer Skirmish. This is Week 8, the final week of competition. Everything culminating here at PAX West. $1.5 million on the line for players on Monday. 33 will qualify from this qualifier tonight to earn their spots in that grand final.
You see movements like that, the FPS flips the ramp orientation in order to put himself in a position where he can peek shoot over the top of those. He could have backed up the ramp and potentially had an angle, but changing the direction of the ramp is key. And you see a lot of players just flipping those super fast. The left side of the screen, the density of the players is this final circle closing before the movement starts. 26 remaining, and the FPS, the only player with 5 eliminations. That's 2 points for him secured right now, which is huge. He's trying to stay above his opponents. Don't burn too many materials, though, in my opinion, because a rotation may happen for you as well soon. And unless you catch somebody moving and can get their materials, whatever they drop, which may not be a lot, you're maybe burning through your own defenses too quickly.
There are currently 3 players at 4 elims, needing just 1 more to get that extra point.
There's one.
There's one of them.
Lassie secures his 5th elim, gives him 2 points. We shouldn't feel too bad about that, though. He had a point of his own. I believe that he had 3 eliminations before that. We have Saint there, top of the tower. He's got 2 players below him. Kuptra, who actually earlier we cut to him, hit a pretty good snipe. He had another player underneath him, Tendons. Both waiting, kind of biding their time for rotation as the circle. This isn't terrible, but the players at the top of the mountain, they're going to have to move in a little bit. This is the structure in your top right that you see all 3 of these players. As Saints looking out, trying to catch somebody on rotation. This is last, just pushing the east side. This elimination just before which.
This is how Lassie's got the 4. Jeez, an entire AR clip with that little ammo. There you go.
Catches Ash on the outside of the rotation. And
you know those moments in Fortnite where you're like, okay, all right, I'm through his shields. Come on, he's got to be at least a little bit weak, right? A little bit weak. No, no, he had to fight for every bit of HP. 200 health gets shredded on down there by the AR.
It's actually that package is extremely close to Kuptra. Potentially an opportunity to push for it. Kuptra looking like he's just underneath 100 HP. A body shot from a bolt action will take him out. A well-placed shotgun shot can take him out. Maybe going for that.
It's been about 1 minute and 18 seconds from that last elim. Finally, the FPS got one onto Ilchaz, who we actually referenced earlier, didn't have many materials, was in an awkward spot, just sitting at the top of that build. Does finally drop. Here comes another zone move. I believe Satan will have to go maybe down the mountain a little bit,
just
or no, play the high ground? Okay.
Just a tiny bit. Now, I would stay as high as possible. It's low enough that you're not panicking about fall damage, but there's a chance that after the circle closes, if he's got the forethought for it, the circle might move south, but it doesn't really matter either way. Look at his ammo pool. 33 small rounds, 8 shotgun shots, and 12 medium ammo, 2 impulses, a launch pad. He's scrounging ammo. Even these taps, these little one-off shots, might be a little too wasteful. He's got to really think about
every bit counts.
Forced engagements are going to happen, and you need every single one of those shots.
Lassius now with 6 elims. Can he get this med kit off in time? If he does, he's in a brilliant spot to keep on playing aggressive. There it is, back up to 150 HP. He is quite far from that next zone, and Lupo, this is what we were worried about, that next zone on the mountain.
It's going to scrape a lot of players off on the east side as they have to push across, especially the ones that are furthest from the zone. Now, the FPS, he was eliminated earlier with 6 elims of his own, fell 1 short of the 7 for the +3. Lassius is at 6 eliminations and is still alive at 150. He could secure.
The frustration as he rips off the headset. Here you go. Everyone moving in. Marksman getting cut down. He'll place a bounce pad to try to move on through. Everyone's got eyes on him. There he goes.
7th elimination for Lassius.
7
points.
He's done his job. He's done his job. Even if he drops now, he's done his job. He made it into top 10. He got the 7 elims, and there's the people now dropping to the zone. Can Cuddy make it on through? I believe he will.
There's 3 players left. Saint's still alive here, very high up, but look at his ammo. Courage, look at his ammo. 4 small shots and 7 shots. You're running on nothing, Saint. He might have to switch and pickaxe somebody to try and win this thing if he's not lucky.
Imagine if he actually won with a pickaxe. I'd be done.
There's no bonus points for that, folks, but I feel like there should be.
Someone get on it. Someone get on it. Oh, that's the awkward thing. It's not even like he can hope for the 3 elims. Here's Tendons with 0. So basically just playing for placement. He's already earned himself 2 points just by surviving to top 3. He's low on ammo too. He's not got a lot to work with either.
Shots from Tendons burning through potentially what he has left. He and Saints both in bad positions for ammo, like you said, and the next rotation is happening. This looks like it might be a push up the hill. He might not be worried about the next zone. He might be going for an elim here to get that, try and push himself to 2nd and maybe a win. gets the shot. Tendons gets it. And Saint with basically nothing left. He had 5 shotgun shells.
5 shotgun shells, and he plays it flawlessly. Recognizes the scenario. I cannot really fight a full-fledged fight with how little ammo I have. I've got to look for a third-party engagement. This is his perspective. He hears them fighting. He hears, you know, damage being traded. Okay. Doesn't get that a limit. Would have been nice because it would have actually put him at 3, but in the end, all he cares about is that victory royale. Secures it there, and that'll put him in a pretty position, Lupo, when we take a look at our standings later, as he hopes to earn one of those 33 spots from tonight to make it into the grand final on Monday.
3 points from a victory royale, probably enough based on what we've seen from previous days, so that should feel really good for Saint. As not the first qualifier. He actually played yesterday and did not land top 33, but today I believe he's come back with a little more determination. And even if he hadn't made it today, he could still qualify tomorrow. He could play through the heats again and push his way into qualifiers tomorrow evening and try his hand at getting to the grand finals Monday. $1.5 million, just crazy.
We have one more game to go tonight. Again, we'll keep you up to date on where everyone stands. We'll know who our 33 who have qualified are for the last one, and there's the hype there. Saint knows just how important that is. He just pops the emote as well. IRL. All right, I like it. I like that emote.
It's confident action from him. You love to see it. Now, he's not the only one that put on a good show over the course of that match. There's a number of players that are shining exceptionally well, and there's some. Yet again, we've seen a number of people that you have high expectations for, high hopes. Like Vivid yesterday, it seems like hopefully Myth. He's a player that I've seen crush, just crush opposition, and I would almost expect him to show up this last match and dominate.
One big name, C9 Bandit, had himself some nice limbs in that one. You mentioned you're hoping for Myth to come back and dominate. Just for everyone at home, no matter who you're a fan of in this, if they don't have a single point to this point to set the tone for how this can play out from yesterday. One player in particular that comes to mind was Wheats of Rise Nation. He had 0 points going into Game 4. He then winds up securing a top placing by getting himself some limbs, by getting a top placing in the game, earns enough points to put him through to Sunday based off of just one game. That can still happen here, Lupo. Nobody can be counted out yet.
See Bandit in that previous engagement right there, the ability to just turn on a dime almost and still be accurate. It's incredible, the sensitivity that some of these players play at. Higher sense in a game like this is very important because building 1-by-1s and being able to protect yourself, you'll see players, there are some players that are so fast, the second that they take damage, they are instantly 180ing and building all ready to protect themselves if it's shot from the back, and he's a player that can do that. They spin on a dime.
Another player who can do that as well is NRG General. We were watching him a little bit towards the later half of that game, but this is that fight with Hysteria. You saw he broke the wall, replaced it with his own, gets the quick edit, cuts down Hysteria, re-edits the wall so the third party can't stop him. So quick. It's what you need to do if you're going to be one of the top players here this weekend, Dr. Lupo.
NRG should feel good about to pick up a player like General on their team. He's a very accurate player. See, they're even just barely peeking over the top of structures as he jumps, pulls a shotgun out, and lands the hit at just the right time. Crits, like 57 is enough to take a player out, especially when they spend a little bit of time in the storm. His positioning was perfect.
No, it's nuts to see. And the double barrel shotgun can't be stressed enough, but they all did well. You saw our winner, pops the emote after Saint, someone who we've seen a lot in the summer skirmish to this point. He's been the duo partner of OPSCT. He's actually killed me multiple times outside Greasy Grove. So good to see him do quite well in these final moments. Again, can't stress enough that actually if he got that second elim there, that would have put him at 3 in total, but he's still happy to get that victory royale to earn himself those 3 points. This
is a proof of maybe game efficiency. He used almost every single shot he had in his inventory, even the last 4 small rounds in his SMG to try and get that second to last elimination, like you said, using literally emptying every magazine that he had to try and get as many points as possible.
Nuts, and setting the stage for where we currently are. Who will come out on top? Who will be the top 33? Use that hashtag Summer Skirmish. Continue to give your predictions and thoughts. I believe we have ourselves the standings up to this point leading into the final game. Where is everyone at? I'm assuming Aiden's still up top, yes, but he's at 6 points. Boyer's right there with him, and he's actually jumped to 13 limbs to this point as well.
Boyer's somebody we actually haven't touched on too much before this. I did not even realize in the feed he's been racking up elims. He's at 13 of his own, tied for 6 total points, and he's not the only one. Lenane, 6 total points, 10 eliminations, the double-digit elims right now. We still have a game left.
And look at that, in 8th. I mentioned how one game can be enough. Saint with 2 elims in total and 3 points. That means that literally everything he's done up to this point tonight
from that
was
one game.
in that game 3.
That means everyone that's out here, no, don't write anybody out.
Yep.
No one's done. Top 33 advance, and we have 1 game remaining. Everybody is still eligible. Anybody could advance here, and it's going to be impressive to see who's going to show up this last game.
Jake right on the edge. You know, someone out there who's got quite the fan base. Maybe he can make it on through. You see Hysteria and 42nd there, yet to get a point, but that tiebreaker that comes into play. First, it's Victory Royales, number of Victory Royales, which obviously only 4 people can have. Second comes to total limbs. Folks, we are just minutes away from the final game of the night. We'll go to a very brief break. When we come back, game number 4. Don't go anywhere.
I got fans on Twitch and pretty much my friends, my family. I want to win to make everybody proud. I'm not here necessarily to win. I like the competitive side of everything. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience for sure.
It'd be hilarious if a non-pro player beat the pros. So let's get it. Let's put it this way, I'm going to be a Bush boy for sure. Yeah, I'm going to get in the top 10 just to be crushed at that Bush.
It feels good to show the world your talents and your passions. It makes me feel really good.
I want to win just because it would show how much I've grown playing Fortnite. From barely able to do anything in the game to being able to win would be very nice.
I think it'd be a good opportunity to get my name out. Also, I mean, it's a lot of money on the line, so mostly the money, let's be honest.
one more game to decide who our top 33 will be to make it on into the $1.5 million grand final on Monday. Who will it be? We don't know yet.
Anybody still has a chance to, Courage, as we've seen from previous games. Players, like last game, Saint securing 3 points of his own with the Victory Royale, which puts him well within range for qualifying for Monday. So anybody, whether you've gotten eliminations, 0 elims, 0 points, doesn't matter. Because right now, there's an opportunity for any of these players to play out of their minds, get a bunch of points, and make their way to Monday.
And that's the beauty of it. Saint just did it. Who else can follow suit? What a fun week we've had so far. The best thing is we're only halfway done after this tonight. We still have qualifying number 3 tomorrow, and then the grand finals that everyone's looking so forward to on Monday. Here are your standings to this point after 3 games. Again, Aiden at the top, 15 elims, 6 total points. Boyer in a close second. Envy Lenane in third at 6 as well.
Now you see here the top 33, Jack, on the list here make it into Monday's grand finals. We do have 1 game left, so like we said, it's anybody's game. 2 points, 1 point. Looking down here towards 32nd, Double O Flower, a teammate of mine, and 33rd as well, making their way in. So anybody on this list, regardless of elimination and total point count, now's the time. You can take advantage of it. And a number of these players have elimination counts already, which for tiebreakers will put them high enough to make it in. It could happen.
Can we give a quick shout out to Ghost, who have Aiden in first, Bizzle and Saf, I believe, also in the top 10 or 12. Quite well represented here this weekend. It's awesome to see one of these organizations stepping on into Fortnite, getting involved, and having a lot of success. So congratulations to them. Game 4 will be starting here momentarily. Final predictions. If you're a player, you're at 0 right now, do you change anything for Game 4?
I feel like dipping in, kind of getting used to the situation and your environment. Act as if you're at home. It's gonna take you the extra mile, because being comfortable in the environment kind of means everything. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jack. I've watched Myth play a ton. He's an incredible player. He's scary fast at everything that he does. I would expect him to show up big this game. I've got it on him, honestly.
Let's see how it all plays out. You know, the question is, who will join 72 Hours as our top player from the night? Last night it was 72 Hours. Who will be tonight? We actually put together a little piece about 72 Hours to learn more about him.
Let's take a look.
My name is Tom, and I'm from New Jersey, and my gamer tag is 72 Hours. Playing at PAX has been a very different experience than I'm used to. Like, for example, being around other people who are also extremely talented at the game and competing next to them is just not comparable to anything else I've done in my life. So in order to win today, I tried to play really passive early game and just focus on getting a lot of materials and avoiding those early game fights, because a lot of other players will spend that time fighting, and by then other players will have farmed 4 times, 5 times their current mats. The biggest thing is some people don't understand, I feel like, when to rotate, and that kind of hurts them when they're trying to rotate into zone. They do it too early or too late. They don't really read the situation correctly, and that's kind of what whittles them down almost, because like your shields and your materials, like it's all currency basically for your life, and people kind of misjudge that, or they'll hold you in storm, which also is really not fun. If I were to win this prize, it would be huge, because I could pay off my house and then I would just be stress-free. I wouldn't have any bills, and I could just move on from there and continue grinding Fortnite. Every one of my teammates has won a summer skirmish, so I feel like it's just the only right thing that I've got to win one too now. So.
Ben, you made a gesture the second he brought up one line. Go ahead. Talk to me about it. What stands out for you?
Yesterday, I made a comment about how these top-tier players treat even their remaining HP as a currency for when they can and cannot make moves. And the reason he referenced there, right there, is he made the choice to push outside the zone. He knew he was going to spend that HP currency, so to say, on making an intelligent positioning decision. And it paid off huge. It got him the game win. He had shots on Brandon around the corners. He was trying to rotate away, and he spent that currency at just the right time.
Hey, smart play from him. He knows that currency quite well, probably better than most people here, as that's why he finished top in that heat. Let me know. Let us know. Use the hashtag Summer Skirmish at 72 Hours. The player that will come out on top in the end will it be someone from night 2 of the qualifiers. Have we yet to see maybe the winner from this weekend play yet? Either way, folks, it is time for game number 4. This crowd has been wonderful so far tonight. There's a look at the players as well. Oh, God, I'm nervous, Lupo. I'm nervous.
The last one, Jack. We still have 2 days ahead of us.
Yep.
But I want to see just how loud people here at PAX can get. Let me hear it. Yeah!
I joined that as well. Could you tell?
I could. My ears hurt, but I still love you.
Thank you.
Now we see the bus coming west to northeast side, right across Tilted. If Nick Merckx were here, it'd be a dream drop, but we have a number of players jumping out early. See that bottom left corner, like I said before, dropping over the water is super important for that. Dropping over the lowest elevation they can to get the parachute to open as late as possible, the glider, so they can fly into one of these loot spots and hit it as fast as they can. The southeast side of the map, potentially getting quite a few players going there. But it's always been a pretty even spread across the map, Jack.
Yep.
These competitive players, they see these locations, even the non-named ones, as an opportunity. A fight there for a weapon. Aiden picks it up, gets a couple taps, trying to drop down, and this pursuit we saw earlier against Sadie's going for round 2. Gets it, tendons goes down early. No weapon. That spot right there in the corner, a pretty common weapon spawn location, but nothing there this time. The tendons coming up rather unlucky as the first elimination for Aiden. Tilted is maybe his home and native as well.
On the leaderboards, we saw that it was Saf who's in that top, I believe, 12 right now. Fly Crunch immediately popping that Portafort, wanting to play the high ground and look for where exactly his opponent is in this top Viking Village / Valhalla area.
Now, you mentioned earlier Ghost, a team that has a number of high-performing players here. Saf, one of them who is trying to peek for a shot here.
No, right? No way.
You know you want to.
No way. What was that counter peek from his opponent?
Very fast. It looked like he potentially contacted around the tree next to him. Both these players trying to get a peek shot on each other, but materials super important. Saf recognized that. He's going to start smacking through these little huts out here to try and gather up as much wood as he possibly can, because this engagement, this is the kind of engagement where you know somebody's going to come out alive and somebody's not.
100%. That's Airco. Bouncing on around, only has the ability to build 4 more walls. There's 2 of them.
2.
Player just below gets control of the roof. Doesn't pop in right away. At 120 HP, I'm wondering if he's worried about having more or less than his opponent in this situation, or if he just wants to go for it. Oh, and he knows. He must know that Rex is weak. He probably inflicted this damage himself. Airco trying to go for it.
Just a quick update. The players that were fighting up top on the top of the mountain, Valhalla, Viking Village, they actually disengaged from each other, so no resolution from that yet. Potentially running into each other later. We'll have to see.
More kind of quick little farming from Airco, and it's so funny. You think it really is 5 wood a big difference? 1 wall, 1 ramp could be the difference between life and death. Tempo in double L's. Cuts down Lucy. This is Airco still in that fight from earlier. We kind of popping back and forth.
A lot of action happening as fast. There's multiple engagements happening. We'll try and give you as many POVs as possible of all of the fights. And there we go. Airco taking Rex out. The Dooley's coming in big there.
Pop that med kit for the moment. That was all the way over at Haunted Hills. Nothing left to his name after that, though.
Back over here, this is Cats Talks, who dropped here actually previously and ended up engaging Aiden, I believe, in the second match.
Ooh, whiffs that build. He'll drop all the way down to the bottom. And I'm wondering how many people are around here. Is it 1v1? Is there a third party involved? I think that there's a third party. Yes, so it's still Tempo there. There's Aiden and then Cats.
You see the map here. A couple locations have potential engagements happening, but this is very, very spread. A lot of players landing. You see there's multiple spots where there's no name. It's not a POI, but there is loot there. And there's a lot of separation. It's interesting, though. You'll see even some engagements in the north side of Tomato Temple at the bridge there. There are two players very close to each other. We have these still, all 3 of them in Tilted Towers here. Cat Stalks, Aiden, and Tempo. I believe this is northeast of Flush Factory. Divine played really well on the Heath, looking for elimination here. Gets a couple taps. He still saw that there's shield remaining on his opponent. So aggressive push, gets the shots. The tack, 67, does not get the crit. Only a body shot, and Cub Smiles takes advantage of that. With what
it's going to be so painful left. When he sees the health. When he sees the health, it's just going to add insult to injury. Shido was moving around that top motel area. Gonna have to move towards zone. Not a lot of materials, not a lot of shields, not a lot of health.
Back until the Cat Stalks stink bombs those aren't necessarily always used for getting elimination, Jack. The other option there is even just a single tag can give away opponent position if you've lost track of them. You'll see competitive players just drop one against a wall on the outside of a building sometimes to check to see if there is someone inside behind that surface.
It's a zoning tool as well. You throw that on in, you know, hey, there's no way he can push through this.
Now, Velikody doesn't necessarily have to take this engagement, Jack. That rift to go is so pivotal depending on your position.
Absolutely. And also in the engagement feed, we just saw Poach within a limb. Myth just got in a limb. Lenane also getting involved. Velu breaking on in. It's a dance party now as he's made it into the dance floor, peeking. Where is his opponent? Gets tagged that up for a little bit. Shields. It's Cup Smiles we saw was down to just 10 HP. Velu can't snap out of his opponent quick enough, so from a 200 hit point pool down to just now 120, now down to just 97, not putting any damage yet into his opponent as of yet. Cub Smiles doing everything he can to stay alive in this final game of the qualifier.
If at any point Velikody feels uneasy about this engagement, he can rift to go his way out of here in an instant, but it's looking like he's going for the fast edits. Velikody might potentially be out of materials now.
Oh my goodness, Cup Smiles found a way to medkit or bandage during all of that as well. A second straight engagement, Lupo, where he's dropped to under 30 health.
Fall damage from the tree, got to be very careful around this. They're not super high, but every little bit of HP, that currency, as we were talking about before, counts. And Jay Cuddy basically in a punching match against it's Myth, a build-off almost. Not a lot of ammunition, minus the shotgun here. He's going to have to make a play up close, potentially. Tons of materials, though. He's in a great position for materials. He's trying to go for basically a bludgeon or a place on one of these to get an edit, take advantage of it. Myth going for the shot. 15 HP left. He's got to stay above him and get a peek shot with a shotgun is going to be key here. Goes for it on the drop down. The tree actually absorbing a lot of the damage.
This was a replay from earlier.
Earlier Myth's elimination earlier on King, but Myth goes down to Jay Cuddy. And that is the end of the event for TSM's Myth.
We just lost Myth in that scenario. Jay Cuddy with the elim. We'll see if he can continue to push on through. Looking down at the scoreboard on our end, Animal at 3 elims so far. Another point this game. Gorilla also at 2, and Lenane with 2 elims as well. Aiden with 2 still in this game.
You see the feed. Poach actually just got his third on Chuck Nass, which gives him 1 point moving into the next round. But Spades, Divine's teammate who we discussed earlier, these fast edits, Courage. That's 3 layers edited in what feels like a second.
Yep.
And you can catch an opponent off guard almost instantly with editing that fast. Now, Spades is actually out of material now. No more builds are available, and he's going to have to start taking shots. He's noticing now, and he's going to drop down. These materials just hanging out, waiting to be picked up, as well as some minis, a med kit, there's a campfire.
Just spawn there? Like, how did that just happen? Okay, he's more than happy to take all that.
Placed a phone call to Epic Games or something on that one. It didn't really, folks. Spades, that launch pad coming in key, choosing to just opt out of an engagement and push this across to retail, which, depending on where people dropped early in the game, may or may not still have loot in it.
NRG General stuck in these trees. So many materials. Look at the inventory. Similar of a loadout to 72 Hours, where it's just going 2 weapons, 3 heals. Tristan versus General. Tristan strikes first blood with the damage. Now trying to swap. He misses the shots. The hip fire is in. And General had everything he could ever dream of, but unfortunately loses his first fight. And now Tristan is rewarded with basically everything you could need.
Lenane, Kutra, and Crunch all in one little cluster. Lenane might be looking to third party, but it's not an issue yet. What a shot! Pops out from around the corner and whips the shotgun shot on Kutra. Gets the elimination there.
Tatlo stopped the apples. I was wondering if he's going to. He is. He's actually going to stop and eat the apples.
The launch pad from Dr. David. Maybe
wants this fight. And I love this too, because if you're seeing an opponent eat apples, you're like, okay, this guy's got to be pretty low. Brilliant pyramids to block the build of his opponent. Will that give him the chance of the high ground? No, he butchers actually his turnaround with the ramp.
A brutal word, Akers, but you're not wrong. And David's going to have to try and choose another trajectory. Do you still engage in this situation? Do you still engage like David's going for?
I think you do. David's got 200 health. He's got minis and medkits, and he knew the last thing he saw was Tatlo eating apples. If you're eating apples, you're desperate. And there
like
you go.
Said,
It's a smart play. That's one where
he even nodded his head.
Yep.
That actually was a third elimination. That gets him a point.
Literally, that's to put him at 3 limbs. He saw Tatlow eating apples. If you're eating apples, you're desperate. You go for it all. This was Vide up against Aiden. And GG, either way, Aiden put on a show earlier on, gave everyone a reason to cheer.
A lot of strong talk from Aiden claiming 7 eliminations. I can appreciate the confidence. It doesn't matter how Game 3 and Game 4 turned out for him either way. He's gonna move forward to the finals on Monday. We still feel good about that.
Now David, last we saw from him, he was building up on top of this house. Got the elim, now stuck inside. He's got Animal, of all people, pushing him. Back on over to Sketch, Kayun, and Bowman. Little 3-player fight. Everyone getting weak, and there's the double remote explosives. 1. How about a second? How about a second? Anyone else want to play? Yes, please. Bye, friend.
Ooh. Sunk down through, basically phasing through, beat the build. He was faster than the build, dropped in on his opponent, and got that elimination.
Oh, this is a really awesome fight. Tempo versus Animal. Tempo, a name that you've heard so much of from FaZe, a top pro player regarded and known widely across the community. Animal, more trying to build a name for himself in this whole kind of competitive scene. And right now with 5 elims this game, continuing to spread himself out for the rest of the pack.
39 players remaining. The circle has 30 seconds to close, and this is the opposite side entirely from what we've seen in the past. Is far east by Lonely Lodge. Animal right now the only player with 5 eliminations. That's 2 points, and we cut over to him going with these fast edits, pushing up top and trying to counter build against his opponent. To the triangles, you saw him trap his opponent in to try and stop it, and actually standing right next to him and catches Monster with a 140
I'm literally clapping.
Shot.
Beautifully done.
Courage is actually clapping because a beautiful play, a lot of perfect decision making, and capping his opponent with those the pyramids right on top of the ramps.
Oh, and then he just ate a rocket from Tempo. I think this is Tempo he's fighting currently. Third party as well. He's got minis he can at least use to heal, but his opponent making sure he has no time to breathe. Here's his chance. Popping those minis will put him back up to 86 HP. Still, though, 1 rocket elims him. Will he launch pad out?
Almost expecting a bouncer to bounce out of there. He's the traps to block a drop in from Animal. Intelligent play from Tempo.
Oh.
Goes for it, almost gets it, but Tempo reading ahead.
Jeez, these edits.
A third party potentially sniping in on Animal while they're in the middle. Animal Tempo in the middle of the fight.
Tempo knows he's got a huge health advantage. Oh, he loses the build.
Gets only shield tags. Unbelievable accuracy from Animal. Gets a 47 and a 50 with the double barrel swaps and finishes the engagement.
If you are Tempo, I'm wondering if he got caught with his build out still or something awkward, because if you get that floor on top, you cannot lose that fight. That's one that he needs to win 10 out of 10 times.
Joystick might actually have the drop here. Does his opponent even know that? You see him jumping and spinning to look back, but he's just hiding behind the tent. He doesn't have to move. He doesn't have to engage. You got 38 seconds on this rotation now before the storm starts to push people in. Joystick, he kind of just waited it out. He didn't have to do a thing. That's gameplay looking for a top leaderboard position. He's going for rank.
This is going to be our highlights after the game. Joystick sneaking out of the zone.
A good poach, a player we've seen very often. He secured a number of wins in the summer skirmish with Tim the Tatman, among other players that he's played with, and he's a confident player. He can put an entire team on his back, Courage, and he doesn't have to right now as we're playing solos. He has 3 eliminations of his own. That's 1 point already. He's in a great spot, too.
I mean, this is where Poach excels. When he gets in these little 1-by-1s and can navigate around and know, hey, we got to peek this, we got to take a look at this. Here's from earlier on with Ghost Bizzle and Laddock.
Bizzle, wow, the shots, very accurate shots from above. Ghost Bizzle going down. Animal, we've had our eyes on him. He has 7 eliminations right now. That's 3 points for him, which is extremely good. Teenage is above him. He might have to rotate into Gorilla depending on the zone next. And we're looking at the point now when this zone closes, the Storm's going to start to move, and this is the cut down of player count is going to happen. Now Teenage underneath. Animal getting a tack shot, 30 damage. He's just going to start pushing into the spray and catches Teenage in the corner.
Dude, he is on a tear. And that actually just gave him control of at least the zone area. Another pro player near him, it's Gorilla from Team Envious.
8 elims for Animal. This is tied, I believe, for the most we've seen in a single game with what Aiden dropped in the second game. And he's going for elim number 9.
Look, he's not stopping.
Here's the zone. You see a lot of players. Everybody pretty much already inside the next safe zone, but the positioning here, it's going to be key. Whether or not you have to move quite a bit for the zone or not.
Gorilla just kind of staying. Animal, it's like he scared him with those explodes and now has made his move towards a safe zone.
My apologies. I misspoke on which circle it was. We still have one more shrinking down before the movement starts. So 29 players at this point. 8 elims for Animal. He's going to have to start moving in, catch him off guard, get the shot. 70 plus.
Still has minis.
The opponent, you know, still potentially has shield. Didn't get the. There's a sound effect that happens, Jack, when the shield gets popped. It's one that a lot of these players have memorized.
But look what this is doing. Shivzy had the health advantage. Now it's the other way around. But
almost caught
Animal tried to greed the big shield, and just like that, he's down to just 52 HP, and full panic is set on in. Oh, is he going to get this big shield off this time? Nope, Shivzy will not be able to strike. He's actually using this time to pop bandages himself, so Animal will have the health advantage. And Shivzy knows this, which is why he's backing on up.
Here's your leaderboard. Animal literally doubled the next closest elimination count from Bowman SC, which is crazy. The number of eliminations that Animal has secured. Gorilla and Poach, as well as Vide, all 3+ eliminations. It's a single point for each of them. You see down C9 Shivzy and the rest of the board sitting just underneath 3 elims for a point.
Ooh, and Animal actually still has a launch pad still. And I like this from Animal. Putting that launch pad in his first slot, making sure he can use it in a panic moment, right? Second, he needs to get out of somewhere. It's not on his other trap or anything like that. It's just immediately right on his quick swap. He didn't get any mats from that. God of Rage didn't pick up any mats. Oh, he still can't build a single wall.
54 seconds, and look at what once had a number of trailers and such here for metal farming is completely empty and just filled with opponents now. I don't think you can really farm those Courage for resources or materials like you might expect to be able to. And players are going to find out real quick. Everybody else is hiding around in here. A lot of people are building up their little 1x1s, and this is the up-close gameplay. That semi-auto snipe. Gorilla's got 125 shots, heavy ammo for that thing, but he probably won't even use any of them.
Dancing around. Look at all these walls he controls. 26 players still in this game. 10 seconds until the zone closes. Joystick, who we saw play in a game of cat and mouse earlier, seems to be in a similar scenario. As we're fighting all around Retail Row, just outside retail. There we go. Misses the edit. Who's got the high ground right now? It seems like there's a few towers like Slaw Pass right here. That's a huge 62 damage tag.
He's got another opponent on the open. Just a quick tap, 26 shield, which is enough probably to make that player. You look for people to panic build a little bit. Catches another player rotating. You see, as soon as they start to take shots, materials get used, whether you land hits or not, and so you're whittling down your opponent's resources, whether it's HP or what they can build.
He wants a fight right here so bad, it looks like. I mean, yes, he's moving to the zone, but he's got to claim this wall to the right.
Just built a ramp against it. He's going to try and maybe potentially chamber out. Yeah, it's exactly what he's doing. He's building a couple layers of defense and does not realize, Sloth, maybe that Fuzzy is inside the box. That wall that you said he had to claim has an opponent hiding behind it now. The shots.
And see, that's why I was wondering why he didn't claim it, and that's actually coming back to punish him. And all that they're trying to do when building multiple of these 1x1s is to make their opponent not know which one they're in. If there's only one 1x1, obviously you're hiding in that. When you've got 5 of these pyramids, it's like whack-a-mole.
So Vake flying in, trying to get inside the safe zone. Just a quick glance down at the map. It looks like Logan might be the only one you see down there, the south side of your map right there. He's just away from everybody, and he's going to have to move the furthest right now, starting literally right now. Animal 8 Elim's still alive, looking to secure number 9, maybe be the first player to get into double digits in a single game, and he's going to drop down. He's building up layers underneath himself so that the structure up top can't be knocked down instantly. People can't just drop a single rocket and he'll have to experience fall damage, something like that. Even covering the traps like that can be super effective. You'll find people that'll try and push up from underneath and get caught off guard by just
place that wall on the ramp. Yep. Animal still in this one, building above the pyramids. He's got the high ground now, and he's got bounce pads. And the beauty of this is, even if someone shoots down the structure, he's so high up that he can place a panic bounce pad, which he didn't get to do yet. He's trying to do it. Okay, that was all the fall, but you saw he was spamming, hoping he could place it because he thought the whole thing was going down.
The number of players stacked on top of each other in this. Everybody is inside this thing right now, and they're all going to have to move. If you look at the mini-map, a west-northwest push from the Storm here. She is a cruel mistress, and players are going to find out real quick. Everybody that's in here, they're all going to have to move out, and in my opinion, an earlier move right now, the better, because they're all worried about everyone that they can hear vertically. Now's the time to get out of there.
Will they do it is the question. Who has bounce pads to kind of pick up the pace there on the transition? Animal with a 9 limb.
Catches Megalomaniac hiding down in the bottom there, and he's got such a wonderful setup. A lot of up-close combat available for him, and he's not going to go down easy in a 1v1.
Look at all these people stacked. And Animal did use a bounce pad to cross that whole area. You see Shivzy just launch padded. Boosh just did the same. Players flying on in, stacking and building above each other. Sloth now. He's wondering where his next opponent could be. Worried about his back, it seems. Animal gets another elim onto Shivzy. That's now 10 eliminations for Animal. Seems to be proving why he named himself that right here.
There's almost so much movement right now. Keep your eyes on the feed, folks, because that's going to be where a lot of the information on who eliminates who in the middle of this is going to come from. There's just so many engagements that are going to happen during a rotation, especially the next one. A southwest push. Vake has the top down, and there's so many fights happening simultaneously. You see Sloth goes down to Nazgul in the bottom. A number of fights. Hysteria and Enigma are on top of each other in the feed. Poach gets Animal, goes down with 10 elims. Gorilla taking out Joystick, who was hiding behind the tent earlier. So many players fighting for position right now because 4 more eliminations means top 10 for the remaining players, and that's a point apiece.
This is prime Poach right now. This is when Poach is by far one of the scariest players in all of competitive Fortnite.
Don't box this man in. You will regret it.
Yeah. He knows how to maneuver. He knows how to dance.
He's taking control of a lot of these surfaces, like you were saying earlier. That is a huge piece of up-close combat. Vake not moving yet, even though the surface is coming. He's got to. He's dropping down to try and get any sort
of. Very low mats though.
Nazgul dies to the Storm. Fuzzy takes Bumble out. Sean was taken. One of our previous winners goes down to Vake, as we're talking about. Boosh taking Nice out. Enigma eliminated by the Storm. Vide eliminated by the Storm. The Storm claiming a number of players here. Fuzzy. Poach goes down to Fuzzy, and Fuzzy gets elimination just before that. We have two players remaining.
It's two. It's
a 1v1. Fuzzy at 5 elims already, which should feel fantastic, but he's going to start getting tapped at from above here.
At least he'll have a big shield to use. So put him at 162.
Push. Sap.
Oh, Sap.
Looking at the shot. The wall blocks it. A last-second build.
These are all his mats. Keep this in mind. These are all of his mats. Down at a 75. The spray comes in with the drum gun. He's got this player weak. This would be only a second elim, but there it is. Tries to edit it out, but Sap from Ghost gets the victory, and I think if you pick a winning organization from the day, it's got to be Ghost Gaming.
Ghost Gaming has been performing above and beyond. Both Saf and Aiden, every player from Ghost seems to just know exactly how to play this. And he waited. He baited the edit. Seeing Fuzzy work on the wall right there, he took an opportunity, hit the jump shotgun shot, and got the elim. second place is fantastic. You got to remember, any of these players that were making it all the way to the top 10, they're doing an excellent job of choosing the right time to move in. Let me point out, too, Animal had 10 elims. Second place eliminations had 5. Sheesh. He doubled the performance of both Fuzzy and Vide, who both had 5 elims that game. That's 2 points apiece for them, but it's not 3 points. Animal taking home the 3 points for that. Just excellent game.
And he was already towards the top of today because of his placement earlier on, so he's feeling quite good. We actually have an interview with Animal coming up, not quite yet. Either way, we still have our standings to update you on, see exactly who our 33 players are to qualify for Monday. But after 2 days of qualifiers, we now know 2/3 of the lobby, Lupo. Let's take a look at some Animal highlights, though, before we get into the interview. This is someone who I think is kind of one of our standout players from qualifier number 2.
This was aggressive gameplay that a lot of players look for, or a lot of spectators look forward to seeing. Those kind of maneuvers. He's dropping the nade in there. These shots get Tempo. This is incredible. It looked like Tempo potentially hit shots against the surfaces that were around the Animal as he hid in his a cubby hole.
Yep. And then the spray. This was when he knew, hey, I'm going to keep the pressure on. Takes out the Splodes. Catches Megalomaniac off guard. 10 elims in a lobby this stacked. 10 elims is good in a normal game, in a normal just pub. 10 elims in a closed lobby like this, pretty nuts. And I'm pretty sure we actually already have him ready to go with Zeke on the floor. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you so much. I am joined here by Animal, and I mean, your name precedes you, dude. You are literally an animal. You dropped 10 eliminations here in the qualifiers. What's running through your mind, and do you ever tire of being a terror to everyone else?
Once you get that double barrel in your hands, you just feel like you can do anything. Play around in the boxes and the turtles and outmaneuver your opponent, and anytime they get close to you, they're just dead. So anytime you get that, you can just lay out.
Now, what was the preparation like leading from the weeks of Summer Skirmish here to PAX?
I mean, I play Scrim 7 days a week, multiple hours a day, probably 6 to 8 hours a day playing Fortnite, so yeah.
Do you ever get tired of Fortnite? It's a lot of Fortnite.
I mean, it's a grind. You just got to do it. No, never really get tired of it, to be honest. It's the most fun part of the game is playing scrims every night, honestly.
Now, question for you. What is your strategy going to be like here going into the final game, or rather finals?
I want to have a good mixture of slaying out and placing because, I mean, if you slay out and place, you can get the most points. So, yeah.
Now, here's the thing. You know, everyone out there is obviously loving you, right? Because you're just running around the double barrel and just point blanking people. Like, what's going through your head, right? At any moment, you're going to engage someone, and it's like you're so confident in your decisions. You're so confident. You're just like, hey, what's up? It's me, Animal. What's going through your mind at those times?
It's basically trying to outplay my opponent's close quarters, and through quick edits, double barrel allows you to do that, and so does the P90, so that's what I was rocking just now.
Unbelievable. Any final thoughts for all the people out there that love you?
I just want to say, hi, Mom.
There you go.
All right, I got to take a call real quick.
Back to you.
That sums up.
What can you say?
Everything over there.
Yeah, the confidence. I'm busy right now. I gotta go.
Wow, he's making executive deals. He's getting calls and offers that I don't even know what could be going on.
For gameplay like that, I don't blame him, honestly. That was above and beyond. And he actually, Jack, where did he land over the course of today?
Top spot.
Right at the top.
Top spot from Animal. Don't worry, hey, that's some spoilers on the standings. We got more to come. We have some more replays to show you. This one's from Bowman. Someone who a lot of times we saw was like that cheeky third person, like, hey guys, we're gonna third party this fight. Seal this one here, snake this one out here. That was on to Takano earlier on. Now my favorite shotgun, the heavy shotgun being employed here. Love to see it.
Like you said, maybe not necessarily the star of the show, but even right here, Bowman says, I want to be part of this third party. You guys talk it out, and I'm going to take some shots from distance. The C4 here, pulling getting that elimination on Cayenne. And maybe that's even the best way to play some of this, because you don't have to be in the forefront of aggression. You just have to be there at the right place at the right time, and right here drops in, and Scatch caught in a box in the bottom and securing another elimination.
That was edit. damage, breaks the wall, comes in, swipes, and hits the shot, which is crazy. But then our winner from the final game, Saf from Ghost Gaming, we got to show him some love too. It's only right. This is someone that says, and I know for a fact has played tons and tons of scrims, has practiced for moments like this, and it pays dividends, Lupo, when he gets this victory royale. Trying to break on through, and watch how he baits this edit. Hello.
Perfect timing. The fist pump at the end there.
He knew it.
Oh, he knew it. Team Ghost Gaming, they've been doing just an excellent job.
Yep.
Just putting on a good show, showing that they know exactly how to play this game and put on and dominate the field. A number of their players, I almost guarantee it, there's going to be a full team of Ghost Gaming in the
That's
finals
nuts.
on Monday.
That's actually nuts. I know a lot of teams sent out a lot of players, but this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Who are the 33 qualifying for Monday? Let's see our top players here. We know the top 16. It's a look at Animal with the 14 elims and 7 total points. Lines up coming out on top. Congratulations to him.
We talked about, you see there 14 elims and Aiden has 18. You might be wondering why is Animal above. He actually has more victory royales. Remember, that's the first tiebreaker option, the first, the check box. So Animal having secured the higher placement than Aiden puts him above first place for the qualifiers today, Jack.
It's kind of swapping on through. Saint, all he needed was the one game. 2 total elims and 3 points. That was it. That's all he got. That's all he needed was one victory royale. Congratulations to him. Saf in that 5th spot. Again, wasn't putting up monster elims, Lupo, but that final game puts him so cleanly in a top 5 position now. Remember, top 33 make it in. Here's our 32, and Marksman, Poach, both making it on through. Congratulations to them.
Now, anybody on this list that was not a competitive invite from Epic, there's C9 Bandit in the 33rd place.
C9 Bandit actually is the one to bump out his teammate, Shibsy.
If they're players that played in the heats, the round 1, stage 1, Courage, that doesn't mean they're done yet. Tomorrow morning, a lot of players lining up at 6 a.m. can make their way back over here and take a 3rd shot.
Sheesh.
Getting into the qualifiers tomorrow evening to play in the Monday's grand finals.
Well, there's still so much action to come this weekend after 2 days of qualifiers. Lupo, what are your thoughts?
Everything so far from the last 2 days have been just wonderful, and we saw both controller and mouse and keyboard gameplay that was incredibly impressive. We've seen more aggressive gameplay than I think I've ever seen in competitive matches with this format, and I love seeing that. People here have been extremely excited, and we have 2 days left, Courage.
We're just getting started, baby. We're having some fun here again. This is the Summer Skirmish, the final weekend, 8 weeks of competition, $8 million across the weeks, 1.5 of it this weekend alone. For Dr. Lupo, myself, and the rest of the production team, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys again tomorrow, 6 p.m. PST. More action to come. See you there. Oh! Oh! Have a good night. gentlemen, we are live for day 2 of the Summer Skirmish Grand Finals qualifiers. Courage. Joined by Dr. Lupo. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Yesterday was fantastic. The start of 4 days of competitive Fortnite, playing for $1.5 million
in prize money. And it's fun through and through. So far, PAX West has been a blast. And I'll say we had a fantastic crowd yesterday, but this place is literally packed to the brim. There is still a line out the door, standing room only. I told this crowd to get loud tonight. I'm not going to lie to everybody at home, but I want to test them right now. Ladies and gentlemen in the venue, how are we feeling tonight? Oh my goodness, I'm getting hot and bothered. I'm getting hot and bothered, Lupo.
Well, I can feel it, Jack.
Oh yeah, in a good way, in a good way.
The excitement here is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's really excited to see some gameplay today. And we have this evening, day 2, like you said, of the final week of Summer Skirmish. We got 4 games coming at you this evening. It's going to be crazy.
So yesterday we saw 33 players qualify for the grand finals on Monday. Tonight we'll find out 33 more, and the best part is you can still register.
You can
and make it on in potentially if you get here tomorrow bright and early. Ben, walk us through it.
If you are here in Seattle at PAX West, there's a couple steps, 3 very easy ones. First, come on down to PAX Lot 73 with your PAX West badge, enter the registration line, and sign up. People have been gathering around 6 a.m. in the morning. They're very excited to get in. Step 2, if you do get in, you're registered, show up. You got to check in at your designated check-in time on the 2nd floor of the convention center. And the most important step, in my opinion, Courage, is you got to play. Hop onto your designated computer, configure your settings, and get ready to play. It's go time.
These are not your average Fortnite games. Some of the best players in the world have traveled here from across everywhere, it seems, making sure they can compete for this ridiculous amount of prize money. And you know, on my end, Dr. Lupo, I'm looking at this and I'm going, well, you know, it would have been fun to play him, but at the same time, I'm happy I'm casted.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to stay safe up on the desk because some of these players, a lot of these players, every single one of these players has the ability to, the forethought, the abilities that they show when they play. The building is incredible and the fast edit stuff that it's an excellent show. It's a show of skill, and if you're at home when you're watching, you're trying to figure out how to improve your own gameplay, events like this is where to do it. Keep your eyes open for it, okay?
Watch the best in the world, learn from it. Now, this is day 2. If you missed yesterday, don't worry. We've got you covered. Production put together a nice little day 1 recap. Let's have a watch. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Seattle. $1.5 million on the line. It's been nuts. And this is the only thing going on here. Go play at the Lazy Leagues mini golf course. We played last night. I won't spoil what happened.
Tons of competitors coming out here to put on a good show. Play looks like he's looking for a snipe shot. You see him he's jumping and whipping back. Here it comes. Oh! There it is. Replays with the headshot. He's going for it. You see every time.
He got it. He got it.
Right there, gets the shot. What a fast edit. He doesn't even run. 5 HP remaining.
Even he didn't believe it.
Sneaks inside and gets the Elon, puts him at 6. The second one on Powder, 2 HP remaining. Are you kidding me?
7 limbs this game, and there he goes!
Goes down to blue tee. What a finish.
Wow, look at the extreme joy that came from blue tee. He's a pro.
Confident.
2 players remaining. Without a case, but there's the engagement trying to build on up. A quick shotgun blast. The second comes in as well. Brandon down to just 54 HP. The zone's closing on in. He's got to go for this right now. Brandon dropping on in. 72 hours into the zone. Oh, are you kidding me? With 3 HP. Second layer. Third layer. Trying to spot where he is. Nothing yet. Here comes the spray. He's in the 1-by-1. The spray down. Down to just 40 HP. The clock is ticking. He's got to make something happen. He knows he's tagged the health. He tagged the HP. He knew he had the advantage. That's all he needed to do.
Rank 1 from Fulmer there. The last second damage play. Well done.
What a day we just had ourselves, Lupo. And the brilliant part of it, we get to do it all again tomorrow. It all culminates here at PAX West. We'll see you then. A brilliant look back at day one of the competition. I know many of the players who qualified are here live today watching. 72 Hours, who wound up getting first yesterday in the heats. He's down low, looking at him. I keep reminding him that we're better players than him.
Absolutely.
As often as I can.
Jack, I'm going to level with you. No, we're not. Some of the plays that we've seen from some of these players, especially 72 Hours. 72 Hours, Blue Tee, everyone that came away with wins in the games yesterday, those rotations, the decision to move outside of the zone at just the right time, the fast edits, the accuracy, the scary accuracy from some of these players, it's intimidating.
The double storm play he made to secure the one victory was absolutely nuts. Talked about everywhere on the competitive Fortnite Reddits. But there's a lot going on here at PAX West, a lot going on with Fortnite. We want to catch you guys up to speed with the schedule, how all the players even made it to this point. The Day 2 qualifiers, it began very early today. They lined up, earned their spots in either Heat 1, 2, or 3. In those respective heats, Lupo, 32 players move on to the qualifiers, which take place tonight. What we'll be casting. Then they played 2 games to earn their spot. Tonight, we'll play 4.
The top 33 from the games this evening, they move on to the grand finals Monday for $1.5 million. Now on your screen, you see the format. Stage 1, Stage 2, and Stage 3. These are the important pieces. Those scoring pieces there are deciding quite a bit about how players are playing. Top 10 gets you a point. If you make it all the way to 3rd or 2nd, you get 2. And if you get the Victory Royale Courage, you come away with 3. But that's not the only way to get points. Eliminations count as well. 1 and 2 is fantastic. They do help decide tiebreakers, but 3 to 4 elims is 1, 5 to 6 is 2, and if you break 7 or more eliminations, that's 3 points.
And again, right now we are in those qualifiers for Day 2. Another set of qualifiers in Day 3 will happen tomorrow to determine our total players that will play in the grand finals on Monday, where we will have $1.5 million on the line. A ridiculous prize pool. Let's take a look at how it all breaks down. Ben, Dr. Lupo, this is a life-changing amount of money.
First place is $225,000. If you get top 5, it's 6 figures no matter what. And if regardless of how you place in the grand finals, just making it alone is $5,000. Yep. $5,000, Courage.
So basically, you come here, you play in a weekend of Fortnite, you win at least $5 grand if you make it to the grand finals. But again, either way, ridiculous prize breakdown. What a scenario and what scenes it will be for the players who come out on top there, who can really make a name for themselves, because that's the big thing as well. In such an inclusive event like this here at PAX West, at the finale of the Summer Skirmish, this is now 8 weeks of competitive matches. We've seen new names rise to the top. People who, honestly, I had never heard of prior to the Summer Skirmish now have shown how good of players they are, to the point where they're picked up by professional organizations. Incredible stories we're seeing for some of these players out there.
Everyone's putting on a really good show. You've got players coming away with double-digit eliminations over the course of their matches. I think yesterday we saw Turkey Lips drop 14 total over 4 games. That's some really impressive gameplay. We've seen a number of players with 6 or more multiple times in a row. We've also seen the opposite of that. We've seen people pushing as hard as they can, get that 3rd elimination for the single point, and falling short just barely. But those people, that level of determination, that's going to make them push forward, keep trying to go for the elimination count for that single point, place top 10, get another point, because we've seen from these qualifiers, Courage, yesterday that it doesn't take a lot of points to get into the grand finals.
That was the next thing I was going to bring up.
We have people, I believe 33rd yesterday in those qualifiers had 1 point and 5 eliminations, and that was enough to put them into the grand finals on Monday.
That's the crazy thing. We have so many tiebreaker scenarios that come on in. That was such a good point to bring up, because yes, 33rd, the last spot to qualify, across 4 games, only earned 1 point, which is crazy to see. It went to the tiebreakers, but either way, we've had a ton of action so far today. Prior to the stream starting it up, we had 3 different heat winners, just like yesterday. We have to introduce you to them. These are the names to look out for today. Heat 1 early on, OT Divine. Heat 2 winner, Kevy. And then Heat 3 winner was Monster, someone that I've played with multiple times in the past. Chance, good dude, but here's Divine. 5 elims, and yesterday, every time we saw the Heat winners, they finished with 5 elims as well.
Exactly. It's a recurring theme, but you see the placement down there. OT Divine absolutely dominant in both of his games. 3rd and a win among the 2 games. And here, the finish of his matches, it's crazy to think that's consistency. 3rd and a victory is something we have not seen yet in these heats, and it's I think that means Divine's definitely a player to keep your eye on.
Yeah, I think You know, 72 Hours, who got first last night, was probably the most consistent player I saw at overall placings.
Exactly.
So far to this point, but a third and first is darn good in those early heats. What a victory there.
On the outside through the storm, not the first time we've seen gameplay like that. It's funny,
Right.
you're just talking about 72 Hours, and he's not the only one that knows good timings to rotate out. Even before that, one of the matches before, we saw Jack do something similar. You, Jack, wonderful plays from everybody.
Yep.
Kevy here, 6 eliminations. Look at the number of buildings, though. 728, the highest we've seen thus far. And between these 2 games, Kevy utilized 92% of his 7,766 gathered resources.
He must have landed in like whaling by himself.
He just rebuilt Tilted Towers somewhere.
There you go, made some renovations. That was our Heat 2 winner. A look at some of the gameplay from there. As you can see, just how hectic these final storms can be when the zone's moving and everyone's got to make plays. You got to see. Here's a look at him here. One quick cleanup. Close. One thing we've learned, Dr. Lupo, that double-barrel shotgun is everything in these late-game scenarios.
Up close, it's extremely lethal. If you're within, I would even say, pickaxing distance, that's the optimal time to pull the thing out and put and acquire an elimination or 2.
There you go. As we head on over to our Heat 3 winner, Monster. He had 5 limbs, 352 buildings built. Placed first in game 1, but was eliminated 68th in game 2. But that shows you, literally, one monster game was enough to put him on through. That happened actually last night. Wheats, one of our players, had 0 points going into our 4th and final game, then earned himself, I believe, 5 points in that final one alone. And that put him in like 8th. So he was nowhere even on the board. Next thing you know, one strong game can make all the difference. And that's the beauty of it. No matter who you're a fan of, no matter who you're rooting for, even if they struggle for the majority of the day, one pop-off performance can be enough to send them to Monday.
I think that should be at least a little bit of motivation for players that have, like you said, concerning gameplay earlier in their games.
Yep.
Look forward to the next one, because it does not mean you're out. You capitalize on optimal situations. You find times to third party. You gatekeep in the appropriate ways and push in with a storm. Maybe keep people on the outside. You can take advantage of those, pull away a couple points, and make your way to the grand finals.
Absolutely, and that's the story we told yesterday. Again, as the day goes on, we'll keep you up to date in standings, where people are, who's moved on, who's qualified. Get involved in the conversation, though. We said it yesterday. Tag us, go ahead, send us who your predictions are. A lot of people thought Vivid was going to be someone who's going to make a ton of noise, and unfortunately for him, yesterday did not go his way. Hashtag Summer Skirmish online. Who are your favorites to potentially win this weekend and take home the majority of that $1.5 million in prizes up for grabs?
Now, like you mentioned Vivid, there are a number of players we've seen in previous events too that there's been a lot of weight on them, a lot of pressure,
100%.
a lot of focus on them, and maybe they don't perform as well as some people expect them to. But that doesn't say anything about their own personal skill. In certain situations, it could be poor decision making, something like that. Maybe too much pressure, not enough sleep, something like that. We've seen Vivid perform in the past. 4 of the previous 7 weeks, he won Summer Skirmish. That's a statement, Jack. That's a statement.
That most certainly is. Now, back in Heat 1, you saw a little highlight of Marksman actually winning one of those games, earning the Victory Royale. We caught up with him earlier today.
The most beneficial skill I have is my mind, I guess. Just the thought process I go to and trying to strategize to win is going to help me the most. I never say that I'm like the best builder. Some people are known for building. I'm not. Some people are known for crazy plays and aim. I try to make them when I can. Like, I want to go for awesome plays, but at the same time, I think strategy is one of the most important things in the game. First game and second game, I got lucky on the zone, and that matters a lot just because it gives you time to mine up a lot of mats. One of the big mistakes people make is they don't rotate early, and if they don't do it early enough, right now at least, how people are playing, you get caught out fighting with maybe 2 or 3 people on the edge of the zone, but also the people that did rotate early will shoot back at you. And that gives you a really easy chance to pick off kills if you can third-party people and just get a few shots in. I've done YouTube and live streaming for a long time as just a content creator, and I've done it for fun. It's been my job and my livelihood, but I'm also a really competitive person, played with a lot of competitive friends, and I never got into it enough to really want to compete because I didn't have a team. But in a game like this where I can play solos, where I can play duos with one of my teammates now, I want to prove that I can win. You know, I like to make videos and I like to have fun, but I want to play in a strategic way and try to play smart. That's how I win games. That's how I'll advance. I want to prove that I'm good enough to win as well.
Some quality words from Marksman there, and I think it sums up a lot of the sentiments people have shared so far about competitive Fortnite. The beauty of really You can play solo, you can play duo, you can play in squad. There's all sorts of different formats coming up through tests each week on what could potentially be a great competitive format for Fortnite, but also the solo showdowns online. That's how a lot of these top players have been found. Literally booting up your game, playing, competing against the best is your road to potentially being in Marksman's shoes here on the main stage.
I think that shows that Fortnite is the kind of game that anybody has an opportunity if they take advantage of the timing. If they're really, really good, they put a lot of their time into it and practice like crazy, Jack. Anybody, like you said, the everyman can show up at an event like this, come away with $225,000 if they take first place in the grand finals. Fortnite's it's crazy.
Yeah,
that kind of situation. No other game, I feel like, it has put such focus on anybody can win.
Yep, and I love it, and that's what makes it so interesting to watch. If you're wondering, game number 1, it will be starting up very, very soon. One thing I do want to cover is some of the meta plays we saw last night. For people at home who might be tuning into competitive Fortnite for the first time, what are some of the drastic differences they might experience watching this versus maybe watching some of their favorite players stream and pub stomp at home?
And I think the pace is much higher. And here in competitive play, things are a little slower. They're a little more methodical. It's definitely not a slow approach to the game. It's strategic. You want to wait for the right opportunities. With gameplay like this, Jack, you have a lot of competitive players that are playing almost perfectly constantly. And it's the almost part that matters, because when your opponents make mistakes, a good player, a truly competitive player, will know when to take advantage of that. They'll take their shots at just the right time during rotation. They'll watch for mid-engagement and third party and not expose themselves. And you don't really see that in competitive gameplay, or public match gameplay like you do in competitive. Competitive is very much about the right timing on mistakes of your opponents.
100%. And like 90% of engagements in competitive seem to also battle around fast edits.
Oh, yeah.
Catching your opponent off guard. It is nuts how it all plays out. Again, we've been mentioning how much action there is going on here at PAX West with Fortnite. Not only is it the summer skirmish kind of grand finals, but for folks who want to have some fun, we have an entire Lazy Links mini golf course. And actually, prior to any of the broadcasts starting, me, you, and Zeke headed on over. We had a nice little friendly competition, and it's time to be revealed to the world who wound up winning. Let's watch.
If you guys play mini golf like you do Fortnite, I mean, you're pretty much going to lose to me, so...
Oh, come on, Zeke.
That's just pretty much...
Bro.
Wow.
Gentlemen.
Wow.
Take your clubs. Loser has to admit that they are the worst Fortnite player in this group.
All right, so...
I'm in.
Am I hitting first?
Yes.
Are you actually stretching right now? Like, this is going to matter?
Sorry?
Is this the first time you've ever stretched your entire life?
Okay, that's actually...
Bang, baby! 3, keep going.
Oh, still go.
You have finished it out. Big swing and a miss coming in here from Jack. The expectation is nothing but net, but he misses because he doesn't know geometry.
Technique's important, Jack, all right? It's not like building one-by-ones out here, buddy. You got to actually hit your shots.
No! That's so much trash talk for a miss. All right, 3.
That is a par 3.
You actually got 3?
3.
Currently,
I'm average.
Gotta hold this for me.
Wait.
Wow. And that's 1.
Yes.
Sorry, wait, let me reset my mind. I'm thinking like courage. Okay, think like Lupo. Okay.
Swing number 3. Okay.
Dude,
okay.
It's not that challenging.
Partying inside the battle bus, Zeke, all right? Give him a break.
Oh,
wow,
my
dude.
Gosh. No. He has to get like... Oh,
All right, I'll take my 6. I'll take my 6.
Literally next hole.
There you go.
There it is.
Oh, wait, isn't this wet paint?
It's called carpet.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Zach, it's carpet.
Cut this.
Please say this is staying in, especially this part.
Cut that from the video.
There it is.
You're kidding me. You're
drive.
acting so stupid. Bro, if I was born in the 70s too, I'd be good at golf.
Oh! Yeah.
Okay, so next up, we're going next hole.
What?
Yeah!
Guys, it doesn't get better than this.
You can watch this. I'm guaranteeing a hole in 1. You guys got this on camera, right?
Guaranteed?
All right, guarantee it. You got to get it up the little incline.
You forget how strong I am.
Legend.
You forget how physically strong I am as a being. What?
Yeah.
I don't do well with fall damage. How am I supposed to hit this?
Oh. Courage, we need you for tomorrow. Please don't die.
Don't hurt yourself. Good thing we won't have to worry about that.
Oh.
Oh. What?
Ooh.
No
way, dude.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Oh, no way. Oh, no way.
For the birdie, no pressure.
Yeah, dude! Let's go!
Okay, so now Greasy is my main. I'm part of the Greasy boys.
just gave the Durburger a kiss.
Kiss for good luck, baby.
So sweet.
Oh, dude, don't show where it comes out of. Don't show the whole.
Oh, what is that? Okay.
Get off me, bro.
Okay.
Get off me, bro.
Okay.
Seriously?
That is a 2 for Courage.
To you.
And okay, you got it. All right. There it is.
Next time you stretch, check to see if those jeans come in a larger size. They don't, apparently. Great.
Oh, that was so bad. The tongue didn't even go back on the green.
Now look where it's
You
trapped.
gotta hit it from there. You gotta hit it from there, dude. You gotta hit it from there,
From
bro.
there?
Play
You
it
can't
where it
stand on
stands.
it, that little break.
We need to put you in the toddler division.
Okay. Okay.
Jack, we made a mistake. When we got him a golf club, we grabbed one of the adult-sized
golf
ones.
clubs,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Okay.
The drama.
All right, I'll take my 6.
It literally is the way of the road.
Speaking of the way of the road, we're here at Paradise Palms. The way of the road. Come on, baby. 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 Come here, boy.
Let's go.
No way.
Let's go.
No
Let's
way.
go.
Oh.
Don't zoom in with the camera like I'm gonna miss again.
No! Oh my God. Oh my God. There you go,
it
bud.
is.
5. Zeke now looking for redemption. A
Big
brilliant
swing.
shot. An absolute.
Yeah, Zeke,
This is rigged!
Zeke falls to the same folly as Dr. Lupo. Unbelievable. It's aggressive.
Oh,
there it is.
Okay. No.
That's called art. Way of the road. Here we go.
All right, now
Come on,
random
Ben.
pipe.
Go in the hole. Go.
Yo, imagine. Oh my God. He couldn't fail that hard. Oh my gosh.
Okay, if that had landed on the course, that would have counted.
No way. That's a beautiful hit. That's actually a really good hit.
No.
Oh. Come here, you need a hug after that. You need CHR. Lupo, you finished with a total of 33.
I did. It feels good.
I finished with a total of 31.
Zeke,
you got 43.
we did have a bet here, Zeke.
I guess go ahead and zoom in real close for this.
I am the worst Fortnite player amongst this group of beautiful people.
If you get a hole-in-one while you're playing the course this weekend at PAX, make sure you tag us on Twitter. Hashtag Summer Skirmish. Hashtag I hit a better shot than Zeke because I'm better at putt-putt.
I'm gonna go shower because I'm sweating.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
I'm decent at Fortnite. I'm dummy thick, and I'm also the best at mini golf.
You're absolutely dominant on the putt-putt course,
Thank you,
my friend.
Thank you so much. Again, Zeke, good job. That was a great effort, I think. But no, that was a ton of fun. Again, I think a lot of people here had a chance to play. They literally built an entire functioning mini golf course, which is just ridiculous.
9 holes, yeah.
What are the experiences? You got to get out to these events. We had, well, I mean, you think back to the Pro-Am back at E3 of what all happened there in the booth.
It's getting crazier literally
the party
every
itself,
event.
It's just been nuts. I don't know what's to come next, but I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready.
Yeah, it's on top of that, we have gameplay here that you won't see anywhere else. Competitive players playing out of their minds. So you have the entertainment side, the shenanigans of PAX West and the golf course. But let's be honest, Courage, I am looking most forward to the 4 games this evening, the 4 games tomorrow, and the grand finals on Monday for $1.5 million. The pressure that these players must be feeling. Now, if they're listening, I'm really sorry for mentioning it, not to let it get to you, but it's got to be through the roof.
Oh, it's absolutely nuts. I mean, there's been so many things I've enjoyed about the event so far. For one, it's a lot of it's meeting the people who have obviously been watching online, keeping up with the players. Some guys that have never followed a competitive like esport before, you could say, and have now really had their kind of getting their feet wet with Fortnite, seeing their favorite players. And they're not only watching, top streamers now, but they're also watching just top competitive players, people who are the most dominant at the game, the 0.1%. And meeting them, talking with them, hearing their favorites, it's just fun to see how it continues to develop. Who got picked up for this team? Who's going on this lineup? I can't believe this guy placed here. We're going to keep seeing more and more of it, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
I also enjoy the fact that a lot of these players have had conversations openly with fans and their competition about strategy. You see people comparing what the current meta is, what the best way to edit and box opponents, and how to outplay each other. that camaraderie, I love it. I love that about Fortnite and the competitive scene right now, and everyone is here to try and build each other up. What a pun. My apologies. I didn't even think about it. But at the same time, they all want to win. They all want to dominate the competition. They all have a little bit of a secret in their back pocket.
Sure.
And the play has been fantastic.
Oh, for sure. And we've also seen with the weapons people are using. I mean, we had 72 Hours win a game last night, earn a victory royale with 2 drum guns, 3 healing items. You've obviously seen the sniper play from phase replays, how good Splodes can be. It's whatever you can get your hands on. Obviously, you're going for, to up whatever weapons you can upgrade, but there's certain ways people utilize certain weapons to just catch your opponent off guard. It's cool to see. But either way, there's so much stuff still going on here. I believe we've got actually a cool little thing to show off right now. If you've been paying close attention to social media and Fortnite across all the platforms, something was mentioned for the limited time mode coming out next week called High Stakes. Well, I've got a little bit more information for you here. Again, Fortnite presents High Stakes. If you missed the news yesterday, next week a new event debuts in Fortnite titled High Stakes. This event features a brand new limited time mode called The Getaway, a new wildcard outfit with selectable styles, and a free set of challenges. Today, as you can see, we're taking a look. Oh my goodness! I can only imagine what I'm about to be doing with that thing for the Cliffs.
Epic's always kind of sprinkling a new thing, changing the way that gameplay evolves every single time they deploy a new item. But I got to say, so they're going to add in the grappler.
Yep.
At any point, if they happen to vault the drum gun, I might single-handedly blame 72 Hours after yesterday. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. I mean, I already have a ton of love for the impulse grenades, the shockwave grenades, but if the grappler is like what I think it's going to be, I don't know. Those could be dethroned. Those could be dethroned. I just love anything with movement that spices up plays. Yeah, you can get your normal limbs, but I can, impulse above the guy and make something cool happen, or shockwave across half the map.
We've seen a number of those movement style items. Those are the things that change the way that players play, the way that they've developed their own gameplay. Because if you have the ability to traverse a base that your opponent's built, maybe you're stuck in a very vertical 1v1, those movement items, they can help you apply pressure at the right times. They can make it so that you have the advantage suddenly over your opponent. The Porter Rift is a great example, an item that you're stuck underneath somebody, you're very low on materials. You pop that thing, and suddenly you have a top-down view of everybody.
Absolutely.
And you get to choose where you land, and you can catch a lot of people off guard with that.
No, the Rift to Go is one of the more unique items that have added to the game. The Rifts in general, when you think of all the movement items that have been added to this point, it lets you just change up entirely how you rotate, where you spawn on in. I think it's given the ability, especially in competitive matches, to land at those extreme outskirts and then play around. Oh, I'll get an ATK. Oh, I'll hopefully get a Rift to Go. Oh, I'll use a shopping cart or something like that. Bounce pads let you speed up your movement. Obviously, just rifts on the map in general. It's went from people trying to land closer towards the middle and play in those zones because you don't really have a lot of movement options, to now like, I'm going Flush Factory. See you later. I don't care if the zone's in the northeast part of the map. I'll find something to get me over there.
It feels like every corner of the map at this point is relative. It can be part of the game. You can play to that position no matter where the circle might end up. Because like you said, those rifts that are already spawned, you have the Rift to Go item. You have all these different ways to traverse the map. You never really feel stuck. And that's why, as we've watched the Battle Bus at the beginning of each of these matches, you see the players are spreading across the entire map. It's not just one side. It's not just right under the bus. It's not the more populated areas. It's everywhere, and that's part of competitive gameplay that if you're watching from home, you should take note of. All the little spots that players drop, those are all relevant. It doesn't have to be a POI. It doesn't have to have the name. There are a lot of little chainable rotations you can land in and hit these spots and consistently get loot, resources, materials, and everything that you need. And the movement is still available. Your ability to relocate on the map, that is one of the biggest things about competitive play that I think some players don't realize, is that everywhere on the map is viable.
Oh, yeah. Think of yesterday. We were watching that little town south of Paradise Palms at the very bottom of the map. You wind up going there. We call it Westworld or whatever, the outskirts of the town. Like 4 or 5 people were landing there. Some of our top Elim players were going and getting early game engagement wins. And next thing you know, these guys have 3 Elims and there's still 60 left. They've earned themselves a point, and that might be enough to put them on through to the next round to earn their spot in that final qualifiers. Again, for everyone at home, we appreciate your patience getting a couple things sorted here behind the scenes. Use that hashtag Summer Skirmish that we mentioned earlier on. We should hopefully be getting into the game here soon. Either way, things we've talked about. this high-stakes LTM.
I'm excited. I want to steal that llama, man.
I feel like it's like the perfect way to send us off in Season 5 to whatever is to come with the Cube and Season 6. We were watching games earlier here in the venue. People were freaking out because it was in the low gravity zone by the Cube. So, like, fights were going on, people like floating around.
Air, yeah.
It completely changed how the battles wound up going, and it was just so funny to see, like, people trying to hit snipes and trying to build based off it. It was a completely different game in that just one area by Fatal. Hopefully we'll see a little tease of that tonight. Who knows?
What do you think the Cube is going to do next, Jack?
I want, like, another event like when the rocket launched. I saw people thinking, like, what if someone broke out of it and everyone in the lobby had to fight against it? How cool would that be? It's like, oh no.
Pickaxe only.
For one time in Fortnite Battle Royale, it's a peace between everyone in the lobby against one item. Whatever comes out of the purple cube.
Jack, I feel like you would still be the guy to go after eliminations in the middle of the fight. You would completely ignore it.
Like that guy who, when the rocket went off, shot down the structure and
has the single game elimination record right now because he knocked down the structure and got all of those knockdowns.
Man's an opportunist. Smart play. It's a smart play.
That's an intelligent gamer, Jack.
Either way, though, again, guys, getting into the action here momentarily, waiting to see exactly where production stands with it. Either way, though, I believe we have Zeke, who's going to be talking about
what
his
do you mean you believe you have
There you go. There he is. I'm sorry. I can't trust you.
What do you mean you believe you have? Look, just because you
it.
got 31 points, okay, everyone watching, he cheated. Lupo, back me up on this.
Yeah, I got to go. Zeke, I'll be right back.
Guys,
sorry,
look,
Zeke.
First off, you guys are amazing. Everyone watching, thank you guys for tuning in. How are you guys doing, Courage and Lupo?
We're fantastic up here. I was scared for you, Zeke, because you've had a long day. You've been doing the heat casting, and now you're doing this for the interviews. Are you right over there?
I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a long day, and we've been here the first 2 days of PAX. I'll be here tomorrow to cast those heats as well. We've seen a lot of different action all day, and to kind of touch on the action we've seen during the day, it's almost like I'm watching basically the summer skirmish games that you guys have competed in. Every time we flip to a new player, it's someone that I recognize, and the action is nonstop. With this new format, I mean, Courage, I think we talked about it a little bit on the break, but this lends itself to, just high action, and it also plays to the strengths of players that want to, like, survive toward the end of the storm, and, it also lends itself to slayers, right? But we have a short little highlight reel coming in right now. So we'll have to check that out. Again, you guys are amazing. So check this out.
sorts of limbs going on there earlier today. A look at this packed house live from PAX West for day 2 of the summer skirmish. Grand Finals qualifiers. There's so many things you can call it. Either way, though, it's the last week of summer skirmish action. 8
weeks and $8 million total. With this weekend culminates in $1.5 million for everybody that makes it to the Grand Finals. No matter what place you get, you come away with a minimum of $5,000. That's crazy. That alone is I consider that a victory. You make it to the Grand Finals, that's a win in my book.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And either way, you know, some of the people that are sitting in those beanbags right now, they could be our winners tomorrow if they register and follow the rules to be able to participate, just to give everyone a brief refresher at home. Here's how it works. Step 1, you drop in and sign up. You say, oh, we're going PAX West. You land, you get here, you come to PAX Lot 73 with your PAX West badge. You say, hello, I'd like to compete. It's very early in the morning we do that. You enter the registration line and sign up. Then it's step 2. You get told what time to be there, you show up. It's pretty easy. If you're a functioning adult, you'll get it, you'll figure it out. Then you play. You hope to qualify, make it through the heats, qualify for the nightly qualifiers, and then potentially be the top 33 to make it on through to that Grand Finals on Monday. There's a lot of information, I know.
It is.
The format, though, Ben, break it down for us.
So, Courage, if you make it into the heats, the qualifiers are all the way to the Grand Finals. The scoring is the same. The heats each day, there are 3 heats a day. Each heat is 2 matches. The qualifiers, which is this evening, that's what we're getting ready to enjoy. It's 4 matches. And the Grand Finals on Monday is 6. Now, scoring is done based both rank and elimination. If you get 1 or 2 eliminations, you don't get any points, but it does go towards the tiebreakers, which we'll cover here in 1 second. But if you did 3 or 4 eliminations, that's 1 point. 5 or 6, you get 2 points. And if you get 7 or more elims, that's 3. Now, if you get a top 10 at a minimum, that's 1 point. If you get 2nd or 3rd, that's 2 points. And if you get the Victory Royale, that's 3 points, Courage. Now, I mentioned the tiebreakers. They are determined in the following order: the total Victory Royales, the number of eliminations during the entire event, and then your average placement across all the games you played. And if all of those are the same, it comes down to a coin flip.
I don't know if we'll ever get to that point, but who knows? Who knows? Anything can happen. It would be quite interesting to see how it all plays out. Thank you for that refresher, though. Again, all that money on the line as well.
Of course.
We won't be seeing anyone compete for money quite yet tonight. That's Monday, but the players are competing for a spot to participate at that point. Either way, though, we mentioned a lot of big names here. One from yesterday, 72 hours, so impressive. The amount of times he plays in the top, I mean, this is someone we've seen dominate throughout the skirmishes. What is it about his play you think that just makes him so good? The
level of awareness he has of his opponent's position using sound cues, which is hugely important in competitive gameplay, especially in Fortnite. Yep. You'll see that in any game. Fortnite is no exception. And his knowledge of when to make movements on his opponents if they're in disadvantageous positions. We saw him rotate outside into the zone, which is a play that not many players would think to do in the moment. But we've actually seen it a number of times here. He wasn't the first one, and I guarantee you today and tomorrow he will not be the last.
You'll love to see it. I believe right now there's some big names participating tonight. I believe we'll have Myth involved in these games, Poach as well. You know, teammate of 72 Hours there on Liquid. I think he's my front runner.
Really?
I think Poach is my guy I'm looking for.
He's put on a good show a number of times in the past.
I said it was Vivid last night and potentially spoiled it all for him.
Don't give him the caster's curse, Courage, please.
I might be doing it again here. There's a look at the venue. All the players packed on in. The Fortnite Summer Skirmish, 8 weeks of competition, has brought us to this point. And I believe there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go.
Here
Game
we
one.
go. It's game 1.
Day 2, the final week of Summer
sight.
Skirmish, Jack. And we have a northwest to almost a top center bus path. And you see already, like I said before, we were talking about long-range drops. Anywhere is basically eligible. It's all valid. One thing that you will see, do you see in the bottom left on the map right there, that you have a number of players dropping out over the ocean. The reason they do that, for anybody that doesn't realize, your parachute opens in the game, the glider opens based on your elevation relative to the ground. And so what they're doing is trying to drop over the water because the elevation of the ground is as low as possible, which means they get a really late parachute drop. Yep. That gets them to the drops, the loot locations faster. We're going to take a look in the bottom right there.
That's why they pay you.
That's
Lupo.
Thank you, Jack.
Because you explained that.
That's TSM Myth. You have a number of players floating in around them. You can still see the map there. A lot of players still floating to the east, southeast side. We talked about Paradise Palms. We got Myth here dropping into the center Dusty Divot, location that has changed a number of times over the seasons. And he starts out here, attack, some shield. time to take a look around.
Can't complain about that as we swap on perspectives to Jumpman, who's all the way at Valhalla, as I like to call it, Viking Village for some. At the top side of this map, a lot of benefits actually to landing up here, Lupo, and a lot of them are for that reason right there. You see right next to Jumpman, that rift that can just get him out of any bad scenario. Saf, who's up top of them, we just saw the inventory, already has a scar. So if this man gets into any sort of a ranged battle, I think it's going to spell disaster.
It's going to be tough. Jumpman does have the hunting rifle, which you won't see a whole lot of late game from a majority of players, but unless they're feeling very adventurous. Typically, late game in competitive matches turns into like a very CQC fight. But Erico taking Double down with a single shot there. A couple of these players, they're going to be names that you will see again, because if they played in the heats and made it into the qualifiers but did not get into the grand finals on Monday, they're given the opportunity to jump back in and push through a heat again if they have the chance.
You get here early enough.
Fast enough. Exactly.
You get here early enough, go for it, I think is the thought process there. But it looks like Jumpman will be getting into this engagement with Saf, who's just above him, using that high ground. No player having any shields, but I would say the inventory has to favor Saf here. The scar, the blue pump. He's got a hunting rifle as well. Not a lot of materials, though, Lupo, to work with.
No shield for either of those players, and they're going to try and a little bit of explosive play here to see if they can bump one another out from any sort of any cover they're in underneath. Trying to rotate around Saf, trying to get a smack in so we can get one more until he's out. He cannot build now, which means an engagement is forced. The trap play, and Saf goes down. Jumpman.
This is from the lower side of the map at Flush Factory. There's Nazgul with the quick pump shotgun shots to eliminate his opponent. The crowd gets a little bit behind him there. You'll love to see it. Now swapping on over to the complete, eastern side of the map.
Jay Cuddy taking out King with the tack shotgun, gray or not.
Look at the reaction of the camera. Okay, I'm getting a feel for this.
That great tack, if you're close enough, if you're accurate enough, effectiveness is there. You just have to hit your shots, and now, we saw right there.
That's not the storm. That's the low gravity zone. By Fatal that's currently in play. This was happened because of the cube that's been rolling around. Quick little swap for Marshmalele to get that elim. No materials really left, but 200 HP. You got to be feeling pretty confident there. Storm Tiger, name seen online before. Going to go ahead and loop this chest just outside Tilted.
I believe I saw it just on the feed. Liquid Poach was just eliminated, a name that we were discussing earlier, which is that's a big one to have go down when there's still 80 players, just under 80 players remaining in the game. But you have to remember, 3 more matches after this one. Saint is eliminated, someone we watched yesterday that was not able to make it to the grand finals just yet, but Storm Tiger took him out there. Out of materials, 7 and 5, and that's it. It hopes to grab a little bit, enough for one build.
Wow.
5 HP.
Oh my goodness!
The timing.
He's got to try to make something happen. Hit the sniper shot.
1 medal, 1 HP.
What? What?
Storm Tiger makes it all the way underneath.
Okay, and here's his opponent, maxed health with a shotgun. Storm Tiger, if you win this game, you're my dad. Okay.
And Jack,
you are not the father. The tests are back, my friend.
Jack, you're putting the caster curse coming out already. Wallhack Jack, a fellow member of Rogue, looking for an elimination here, but Teenage takes him out. Some very accurate mid-air SMG shots.
And one thing to remind everybody at home, if you've been watching the summer skirmish up to this point, guess what? It is standing room only. And you can hear just how intense it is. A live look at the scoreboard. Again, we are running a full-functioning spectator feature here this weekend that catches us up to speed on where we are. Now, Ben, for everybody at home, let's remind them of how the points work. 3 to 4 limbs will earn you 1 point. Nobody yet at 3 limbs. So everyone's still sitting with a goose egg.
Lassy's the closest right now, though, with 2. But here we see Painful PvP pushing up, trying to see if he can get above his opponent. But there's a lot of building going on here. The triangles there, the pyramids. But he does have a top down. His opponent using those pyramids to double layer, trying to make his way in. But a lot of edit and replaces from Painful. The drop down, his opponent closes an edit behind him. The chase down. That tack shotgun coming in handy. He takes an elim from Siva there and picks up all his loot.
Was that not exactly what we talked about earlier on with the edits and how edits are basically 90% of high-level play? Both players trying to utilize them there. Fortunately, only one can come out on top as we swap on over to Payday, who's just bouncing around.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed that he's an Xbox controller player. You've seen the keybinds down at the bottom is the Y and the bumpers, which means we've seen a number of players show up with their controllers and stay toe-to-toe with anybody, and it's wonderful to see that. the competition is fierce on both the console and the PC side. Now, Cease is someone we've seen in the summer skirmish events a number of times. I've watched his gameplay. Very, very fast edits as we've seen in the past. But he's also scary accurate. Of course, I say that. The shotgun blast. A second one coming in. The jump over the top.
There's the edits you mentioned. Trying to just pull some last-ditch efforts with the clingers, but it's not enough. Payday does go down. It's a relatively clean fight from Cease, and the big thing to point out, too, as well, Lupo, look at the materials. Now, 800 wood, 430 brick. Great spot to be in so early in the game. You see Hysteria, the left side of your screen. He was someone who wasn't able to make it through yesterday through those qualifiers. Came back on through, got off early, and now he's back again.
Made it to the heats today to give it another shot, and they're down there in Greasy, but back over just southwest of retail. There's a pair of houses here that is a pretty common loot spot for players that don't want to hit a POI, but it looks like it's a pretty hefty drop here this time. Dr. David, a fellow doctor, trying to see if he can put some shots in.
Probably not legitimate as well. Sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry, Ben. We'll talk about that later on.
These drop-ins, you'll see some players even avoid building. I think his opponent was down underneath. That David gets third-partied.
Wondering, is he going to pop the Rift to go? Is he going to try to just use it as an escape tool?
He's going to escape. If right now he feels like he's in a bad spot and he does not use that Rift to go, I feel like that's a pretty big mistake. He has an opportunity to make a move here. Yep. He can pop them, and he does have bandages there to push himself up. He's going to be at 100 HP if he gets a chance to get all of those off. But we'll see here if Stark 2K decides to push or not. We have Amjov, Sean was taken again, another name we've seen, and Kevy back there in retail, and the Storm's going to push them out to the west. You're going to see some third party here in a second. This build fight as well is going to be maybe an opportunity to get a knockdown on somebody.
Seemed like it as he had to start just disengaging. And, you know, I was so confident in him in that last battle once I saw the kind of health that his opponent was at, but then I didn't kind of realize maybe his material count is low, and that's exactly what the scenario is on the opposite side of the map.
Megalomaniac 94. This is out at the hotel. The snipe shot. The headshot on Envy Scratch before going for the rift to make an escape because of the circle,
and
but
Scratch had maxed HP.
He did.
Megalomaniac only had 75. That was one of those where it's like, this kind of determines my whole game right here.
A headshot is everything, and he landed it. An excellent shot. Fuzzy, the top-down view, pushing down. This double barrel we've seen a number of times. One of the most chosen in competitive, most chosen shotguns in competitive games because just how close combat a lot of these fights are. You won't see a lot of players say no thank you to a double barrel. It hits so hard up close, you can make a definitive play very easily with it.
Right now, Fuzzy seems like he's not too confident in the engagement he finds himself in, just looking for maybe a reset in this fight. Quick little picture in the top right as you see Fuzzy just kind of jump out of frame saying, nope, not this time around, pal.
The top right there, like you said, Jack, is kind of, it was almost a cross-section of what was happening around Fuzzy as he was backing away, just so players can see the layers, the number of the angles, the ramps that get placed during these engagements. And you have to watch for every angle possible because his opponent could have pushed up, built up a little bit, and gotten the top-down view through one of those ramps and taken a shot on Fuzzy as he was backing out, but he was lucky enough that they did not do that. He's taking his opportunity to farm up a little bit and build up another material buffer. Kyle Smiles, this is another player I think we saw yesterday making a move away. A lot of intelligent disengaging, a lot of defensive building that is excellent to see in competitive matches because a lot of players see building most of the time as an aggressive way to play, pushing up on your opponents. But right now, even right here, he might potentially edit that once it finishes so he can peek through the structure and see if his opponent is pushing.
And the zone, you just heard that kind of noise, means, hey, it's about to push. Slowly beginning to close on it, and this is actually a very, very awkward zone. You see it, half of the zone is the water. So no one will be there. How does that maybe change these scenarios, Dr. Lupo? Because we talk about gatekeeping all the time, but I feel like you've only got about 60% of that zone that's even in play.
Not a whole lot of players are going to be coming from the north and northwest side just because of how thin the sliver of the map is that's left up there. You also have the southeast corner, which, if you saw the map earlier, is relatively sparse with players. But that northeast side, the largest push of players, and there's actually a fight going on outside there. Hopefully we can see that after the fact, depending on what happens with that. The two players fighting the storm. But there's going to be a big wave of people coming into the river, which is extremely exposed too. If I were in a position northeast side of Shifty Shafts, I'd build a 1-by-1 one up there, if I had a scope AR especially, or even just something I could tap fire with, take advantage of third-party situations, especially right now.
Oh, most certainly. As we continue to watch, Cub Smiles is setting up right now, swapping it over to Lenane as he's got some remote explosives in hands, considering maybe dropping some on in there, but realizing, hey, that would probably cause some danger close splash damage to me as well. So maybe not my best play as of yet. There you go. Now his opponent beginning to build on up, try to fight for this high ground. The quick reaction from Lenane as he continues to build on up, keeping the high ground advantage, not getting the high damage pump shots he might want. It looks like it's time to spray. SMG in hand, nothing as of yet. And now, a third party. A new challenger approaches as he will again look to kind of reset this fight. Do you stop and maybe just use the chug jug here?
Potentially, you see his drop down. He's taking an opportunity maybe to, like you said, use the chug jug. And one thing I want to point out is in the middle of that fight, he was using a pump action shotgun to try and blow through surfaces. And recently, Fortnite, there was a change to that. Shotguns don't do nearly enough damage to make it an aggressive play to use it to push through structures. The swap to an SMG in that situation probably would have been a better play because he would have been able to push more aggressively on it who was trying to escape.